Hello, we're here with Pioneer tonight at Chupacabra Games. You got me, Robert Brinker, here in the booth with Nick Peterson.
Yep.
We're gonna be doing some commentary for you guys. Maybe talk to some people after matches and stuff also to fill some air depending on how long matches go. Looks like for our first match we've got Caleb over here on Mono Green Devotion or Mono Green Storm, and Kai on Lotus Field combo. Who do you think is favored in this match, Nick? I have zero Pioneer experience, so I'm mostly just here for color commentary.
So these two, it's really just a goldfish match between these two. Both have pretty uninteractive decks, so they're just the goal is to rush as fast as they can. If Caleb gets fast like Old Growth Trolls into Cavalier of Thorns, he can really run Kai out of the game before he gets to play. Meanwhile, out of Kai's deck, his deck can pretty consistently just end the game on 5. So if Caleb doesn't have a way to stop him from doing that or run him over before then, he can end the game. Caleb does have the edge of having Karn in his deck to be able to grab the hate cards in this matchup, though. So he can use his Nykthos early to make him have a big mana advantage, and then go play Karn off of that mana advantage and just grab a Dampening Sphere and put him on a headboard state while his opponent doesn't have the mana for under-dampening.
Gotcha. I do remember when Pioneer first was coming out, people were talking about Lotus Field actually being pretty resilient to Damping Sphere. Like they can kind of answer it pretty well. Is that still a thing, or
I think it has better answers than ever to Damping Sphere.
Okay.
The cards that you want to bring in to stop Lotus Field all are less than ideal, because now with the inclusion of them having already running Sylvan Scrying, so they have ways to search lands. They have both Odawara and Boseiju at their disposal.
Yeah.
So pretty much every 8 piece can get answered from the deck, which is really good for them to have. Right. They just need to find it, and they have, again, a tutor with Sylvan Scrying to find them.
Gotcha. So I know Field of Ruin is legal in this format, and I know Shadow Spear is legal in this format. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm very fond of blowing up my opponent's lands. So is there some potential deck here involving these two cards to hose specifically Lotus Field? Or is that all realistically a strategy that's employed by any deck in the format, I guess?
So funnily enough, depending on his Karn board, the deck Caleb was playing sometimes does run a Shadow Spear.
Okay.
I do not believe they have anything to destroy lands.
Sad.
They do run a Meteor Golem. That doesn't hit lands, though, right?
No, I believe Meteor Golem is non-land permanent.
Okay. It's hard to tell when they're 7 mana.
Yeah, seven mana 3/3 do 7 mana 3/3 do nothings. Doesn't even go back to your hand when it dies, like Spine of Ishsa, the card that it's a clear reference to.
Starts with an Elvish Mystic into an Oath of Nissa. That's a pretty reasonable start from Caleb. He finds like a Nykthos here, which does he fight?
It looks like a Karn over there.
Karn's a good card for this match.
One of us might have to run out there in a bit and ask our players to swap the sides their graveyards are on. This is the problem we were having last night with actually, if I remember correctly, literally these two exact players in one of our rounds. They'll because of the way the lights are in here, sometimes we end up with some glare issues on the camera. Although maybe our table manager will call that out for him. Although it looks like we might be good for now, because it was cards being on that far side of the table over there, where Kai has got that Sylvan Scrying that we were having the problem last time. So we might be fine. Oh, it looks like I was gonna say, it looks like Caleb tuned up that Damping Sphere you were talking about. So
yeah, it really puts the screws on Kai here, because now that he does this play, Caleb gets to untap and put his opponent back on 1 mana. So he's pretty hard set to
1 colorless too. It's not even like it's useful mana.
So he had a Vizier to then untap it. So maybe he can float mana for Boseiju if he's got it here. Looking at his hand, it doesn't look like he's got a lot of action. It looks like he had a fast Lotus Field with not a lot of action to back it up, which does not spell well for him. Looks like he might just grazer play another land here.
Going into his bag for something? Dice, I assume, for mana? Yeah, it looks like dice for mana tracking purposes.
It's just tapped land.
All right, tapped. Yeah, you really want Maya Coast, right?
He really wants to have like a Sylvan Scrying here. It looks like he doesn't. Sylvan Scrying would have been very good to find Boseiju.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was about to ask is what you would go get there, Boseiju, so that way you can blow up this.
Yeah, the face-up damping sphere is
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cards are really coming up Caleb right now. Is
Another card version, yeah. Probably just gonna. Yep, there's Damping Sphere, which does shut off the Nykthos. Very important to know. So he's not going to be able to benefit from that glut of mana that this deck is able to produce. Yeah, and it looks like that's a Pithing Needle there, and he's going to be casting that.
On Boseiju more than likely.
Yeah, which I imagine is why we're seeing the scoop up here from Kai.
Yeah, Kai would have to make 4 land drops to end of turn bounce and then untap Boseiju. This is the only way out of that, and that's a lot to ask for.
Yeah. I mean, how many lands is the Lotus Field deck normally on?
They're on a good amount because they need to have a high quantity of turn 1 green sources so you can do your Arboreal Grazer play.
Okay.
Because outside of that, Arboreal Grazer is very bad.
Okay. Yeah, didn't seem to do a whole lot there.
Arboreal Grazer is great because you can play it on 1, get your second land in play, and then you can go Sylvan Scrying on 2 and play Lotus Field on 2.
Okay.
That's like the ideal curve you want for that deck.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I think generally powering out your busted lands as soon as possible is a pretty good strategy. I mean, we see that in Modern with Titan and Legacy with 8-post. Although I don't know, actually, or 12-post. Actually, 12-post isn't even actually a very good deck right now in Legacy. Although, as one of our own locals can tell you, Titan is in fact a very good deck. Unfortunately, we definitely won't be seeing Will Kowalczyk on camera at all today, as he was unable to make it tonight to Pioneer.
I will note to say, I don't know if you guys noticed here at their helm, it was a registered 0-card board in from Caleb. That's fairly typical for that deck. It has like a 13-card card package normally.
Okay, and then like 2 cards for like aggro, I assume? Or?
Yeah, so they'll run some combination of, I've seen some with Mistcutter Hydra. I'm not the biggest fan. That's normally the other mono green variant that has a bunch of the haste creatures. Otherwise, they'll have like Prelucranos and the 2-drop green Hydra that's an 0/1, and then it can either double counters or fight. That is the other one that they will run a lot. Just as a way to like get on the board, remove your creatures, and it's 2 devotion after it removes the creature.
Sorry, give me just a second.
We're really hoping to see Kai have a better draw this game. It looked like he had a fast Lotus Field there. With not a lot of follow-ups, a lot of times in the unknown matchup for Kai's deck, when you have like Arboreal Grazer in a fast Lotus Field, a lot of times we'll just go for that and hope to draw the payoff because your deck has a bunch of payoffs, so you just need the cards to get you to the payoff most of the time. He's unfortunately against the deck where he had a fast start and then had his 8-piece right away, so since he didn't have the payoff right away as well as the way to remove the 8-piece, he's kind of locked down from the start.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
He gets a lot more resilience post board. I think if depending on the version he's on, he could bring in Wilts, more Boseijus, and stuff like that. So
okay. Trying to see if we can see anything out of his hand there.
Mastermind and a Yaga.
I think I that card. He keeps citing away, so I can't really point it out to you here. But it looks like that might be a Wilt also. That what's now the last card in his hand. Or some sort of naturalize effect.
Yeah, that looks.
I would assume it would primarily be Wilt because of the fact that it has cycling.
Yeah, Wilt's the one that they typically play. The only other naturalize effect is, of course, on Boseiju itself. So Lair start. Lair of the Hydra is a really fun one for that deck. You can really pump out a lot of mana and just activate a Lair and kill people sometimes.
Yeah. Good payoff to just put people in the dirt. All of those have some sort of ability. Is Lairs just the fact that it can be any size creature?
Yeah, it's green, and I believe it has Train.
Oh, okay. I know X can't be 0, so you can't just pay 1 to blow up your own land. Not that you would want to do that, but
in an event that somebody plays a take your turn effect.
Yeah, I was about to say Emrakul. I believe Emrakul the Promised End is legal in this format, is it not? So that would be the at least sort of the reason that's in there.
It's also notably really cool to animate with a Nissa that this deck sometimes plays.
Oh, yes, because
attacking with the 3/3 with Vigilance, and then double mana into it once they declare no blocks.
Yeah, and it still gets those 3+1/+1 counters. That's That is, in fact, how layers work. I can confirm.
Kai looks like he's playing out lands at the moment, not seemingly doing a whole lot.
Yeah, it looks like this is probably his
Play of wishes.
Okay. Yeah.
He's gonna go grab a board card. I could see him getting an Ugin.
Specifically a non-creature board card. Because that is,
There's the difference between that and the mastermind.
yes.
I could see if he's got Ugin in the board, I can see him grabbing that here. Oh, did he board out a Sylvan Scrying? So it looks like he brought a Sylvan Scrying back into his game that he probably boarded out.
Is there any chance that he just has a Sylvan Scrying in the sideboard, so he's only on 3 of those in the main for a situation like this? Or do you think that is a boarded out card?
I think that is a boarded out card.
Okay.
Typically in this deck, you want the high value of playing that on 2.
The density.
Yeah. So having to wait for 6 mana to do it is a lot weaker for the deck. I just think he's in a situation where he doesn't really have access to a Lotus Field and was like, I have this boarded out. I can get value right now while I'm waiting. Then he has the added benefit of the Fave Wishes does get to come back in the form of a blocker to slow down his opponent's
Might also need to be an attacker to possibly deal with this Karn. Although I don't know, the Karn might be about to do whatever damage it's going to do with this tutor here for Caleb, or pseudo tutor. Wish, I guess that's what they are called. Wishes. We do have a name for those cards. I think that was Pithing Needle. I don't believe that was Damping Sphere. Yeah, that's a Pithing Needle over there for Caleb.
He's going to just have to play it looks like.
We'll hopefully get to hear from our table manager there what
I could see him naming the stager here while he's tapped out and can't interact with any of his cards. Sure. And then next turn just going untap, grab the Damping Sphere again. Because from his side of the table, watching his opponent grab Sylvan Scrying, he's probably thinking he's going to try to get his Lotus Field into play next turn. And this kind of prevents that from doing anything.
Oh, he seems to have named Thespian Stage based on what our table manager has indicated there, which is interesting.
It's rather interesting considering he hasn't played Lotus Field yet.
Yeah. And like he's obviously gonna scrying for
he could be thinking his opponent is playing around Damping Sphere and trying to do a turn where he puts the Lotus Field into play and then untaps it.
Starts with stage and like copies it and then untaps like 2 permanents and goes from there.
Yeah, in order to not play into the Damping Sphere.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Next to Kai's hands, I don't think that is the case, but that is a consideration for maybe trying to play around.
Sure. And I think I saw multiple Pithing Needles in the sideboard anyway.
I believe the deck plays, and it could be different, but the decks I see typically play up to 2 of that.
Okay, so he could possibly be planning on Pithing Needling, like retutoring Pithing Needle and getting hitting at the Seiju or Odawara, depending on what he's feeling, regardless. So
plus the deck is notably weaker on 1 Lotus Field as opposed to 2. And you can't really get 2 in play without sacking a whole bunch of lands.
Yeah,
we're at the point of the game where that's realistic to do. But it's definitely a lot less potent when you don't have to when you don't have the Thespian Stage, letting you keep mana and have it.
Gotcha. So in Modern, there's a meme deck that is Lotus Field Control that runs Blood Sun to be able to put Lotus Field into play off of not having to sack any lands. Is there a possibility that card would be playable in Pioneer to make a control deck like that, or is the power of Cryptic Command and being able to accelerate into Cryptic Command to Fairy, Solitude and Fury just like something that Pioneer not having access to means that couldn't possibly come out of Pioneer?
I could see people playing it. The main concern with that type of strategy in Pioneer is the format is very fast right now.
Okay.
Winota comes down on 3, so if you're even on the play, if you play that on 3 to set up for a Lotus Field the following turn, or play it on 4 so you can Lotus Field after, that's like the turn that they're like. If you do it on 4, they're gonna land a Winota typically on 3, and you could be almost out of the game at that point.
Okay, that does seem like not a great plan though.
So Winota is typically a bully in this format.
Yeah, I know. I've heard people talking about how she might need to catch a ban possibly, but I don't. I obviously have no opinion on this. Like I previously mentioned, don't play any Pioneer. So,
yeah, the card. Hopefully, we see some of that and play it later. But the card generates a lot of value for a very little investment. Looks like we do have the Wilt for the Damping Sphere, which is very good for Kai here. Kai does now get to untap into 5 mana. He does have a Thespian Stage. Unfortunately, that is still Pithing Needle. But
looks like our table manager is indicating that there may be a wilt in hand, or no, something. No, sorry, the wilt. I missed the damping sphere. But yes, the damping sphere got wilted. Okay, that makes sense.
I will say I'm looking at this mastermind acquisition and wondering if Kai is actually on Ugin in the board. Ugin would be a very good way to. There's an option that they do often run that'll allow him to find a way to deal with the last of his 8 pieces and all of his board.
It wouldn't be able to. Ugin can't answer colorless permanents, so it wouldn't deal with the Karn or the Pithing Needle. So he would need to find some auxiliary answer. Also, it looks like Kai has opted to tutor from their deck instead of searching their sideboard. And it looks like, is that a Baron Tolarian Archmage? No, that's not a Baron Tolarian Archmage.
This deck does sometimes play effects like Lier.
That card does.
It's a creature, and it makes all of your cards you cast uncounterable, all your instant sources uncounterable. Oh, everything in your flashback.
The way you pronounced it tripped me up. I had always only ever heard it pronounced Lear.
Oh, I just thought there was an I that make you enunciate it.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. We could both probably be right. I don't know. Yeah, see the 5 mana the 5 mana flashback all your things uncounterable.
Yeah. I could see that coming out because then he could then wilt the Pithing Needle and use his Death Beam stage. Looks like he grabbed. I think that's what that card was. We'll see here. It looks like he's going to Albor Razor no land to play. Just keep his life total nice and protected.
I mean, not exactly under threat from this one Llanowar Elves here.
You have to have a level of concern for these.
Mystic, I guess technically.
Yeah, you have to have a level of concern for this deck's threats. Because they do become very large, and just being able to soak them all in one time is else. Looks like he did find. You're really scared of a Cavalier here, because he found the Nykthos.
Yeah, and with that damping sphere having now being gone, he can definitely. Yeah, and there we go. We see that Cavalier coming down.
This is like nightmare scenario for him. If this Cavalier manages to hit a Karn and a Kiora, he could potentially set up for his infinite combo with the amount of devotion he has.
So the Cavalier puts a land into play.
Correct.
Which, because of the amount of mana available, he's opting to not be a Nykthos. Why would hitting Karn and Kiora set up for an infinite combo?
There's an infinite combo that requires a lot of cards out of this deck.
Okay.
It requires either in play or in graveyard 2 copies of Kiora, 2 copies of Karn.
Well, you can't have 2 copies of Kiora in play.
No, like either in play or graveyard, some combination.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you could have 2 of them in graveyard. You could have both of them in graveyard.
Yeah, you just have more. You can pick.
Yes, okay, I understand.
So
I guess actually Mirror Box does exist now. You could actually 2 cubes in play.
You have to downtick your Karn to get a card called Pestilent Cauldron out of the sideboard.
Okay.
Which has the ability on the backside of a sorcery to grab 2 planeswalkers or creatures from your graveyard into your hand and gain 4 life.
Okay.
And then it exiles itself.
Okay.
So then you play.
It's an artifact.
Yes.
So Karn can just keep tutoring it up,
Yes,
and you
and
get
both players gain infinite life from this combo.
Oh.
The front half of Pestilent Cauldron says you can to black to play, so you play 1 Overgrown Tomb typically in these lists if you're going for that combo. Looks like he's going for a Storm the Festival here. Let's see what he hits on the top 6.
Continue with the continue with the explain how this is.
Top 5, sorry.
Okay.
But then you after you gain infinite life and keep untapping your Nykthos with your Kiora to keep making the mana to do this.
Yes.
You
have effectively infinite mana.
Yep. You then you either sometimes you go really big and you just make a very large manland and hit him with that.
Okay.
Or the Pestilent Cauldron's front half, if you can find your Overgrown Tomb in time, says you can pay it. It's a black to put into play, so you need your Overgrown Tomb for that. And then you can activate it and it makes both players one player mill for the amount of life you've gained this turn.
Oh. So it's a colorless activation cost, I take it.
Yes. It's black to put it into play.
That's messed up.
I mean, it takes a lot of cards.
Yeah, sounds like it.
This deck does run it. It's all the cost.
Can run it. We don't actually know Caleb's list, so we don't know for certain.
We're not for certain. All it really requires out of the norm is running 1 card in your sideboard
and 1 card in your main deck. One Overgrown Tomb and 1 and the Pestilent Cauldron, right? Or do they?
The Pestilent Cauldron is in the board, so you just grab it from that. So you never have to draw the card.
Yeah,
and then the Overgrown Tomb is in the main. You run 1. You can find it off Cavalier and stuff like that pretty easily, and it's over 1 force. So it's a very minute change.
Gotcha. Is there any reason you mentioned that the
coming down? So maybe he's going to start wilting stuff.
Okay. You mentioned that the mono green deck has like 2 flex sideboard slots. Is there ever a possibility if you're running this Overgrown Tomb for those 2 sideboard slots to possibly be Assassin's Trophies, to be able to blow up.
I have seen mono green in air quote devotion decks that do have more than one Overgrown Tomb and replacement, and then has access to Assassin's Trophy.
Okay,
I think that's entirely too greedy, personally.
all right.
But
Just because there's the amount of aggro running around in the format.
that and you're still looking for a 4 of it. Like the Pestilent Cauldron's nice because it's in your sideboard, so you never just draw it and have it dead because you didn't find it.
Yeah, and you're able to hit it off. You're able to grab it off Karn, and Karn is tutorable off of. Looks like we've got an Oath of, or looks like we've got a Nissa Who Shakes the World coming into play. One of our table manager's favorite cards is he is quite fond of cards that are name who nouns or name who verbs the nouns. There we go. I got it right. That's how he says it. But it's the Pestilent Cauldron makes being an okay inclusion makes sense since the it's tutorable or grabbable off Karn, and then Karn is effectively cantrippable for with the Oath of Nisses, and also the Storm the Festivals.
Yep.
Will also
Put the
will
card
also
into play.
find that Karn and put it into play for you as well. Yeah. It looks like this looks like a flashback Storm the Festival.
He
Yeah.
paid 10 mana.
Alrighty. I mean that's what this, and it looks like he has 3 left over. That looks like that's what this deck is designed to do.
Yep.
Or
Or he finds a Kior here.
Actually,
Dangerously close to setting that.
no, I'm sorry. He has I apologize for interrupting. He has an amount of mana that we can't actually see because of that dice being so small. But that Nykthos was actually animated, so it's exposed to creature removal spells. Although, based on what I'm guessing, it doesn't seem like Kai probably has to.
Okay, looks like he did find a second Kiora, so now he just does Karn away from his combo with the amount of devotion he's got.
Alrighty.
So you gotta be very scared of that from Kai.
Okay.
I do believe he did have a second card that we saw him grab earlier. He could just down tick for the Cauldron instead of doing it.
That might have been last game. I know we definitely saw 2 Karns in game 1. I don't know if we saw 2 Karns this game. We may have, and I just missed it. That's
I believe the second Oath of Nissa did grab a second.
is that he's on 10. He's on 10 mana, so he has a lot of mana here.
This is where we get to see if he runs the combo.
Well, it looks like he also played that Nykthos as his land for turn, so he would need to
Cavalier into it.
yeah.
Just the forest here. Did he hit a storm?
Although it could also
I do believe he hit a
yeah, it
storm.
looks like he did hit a Storm of the Festivals. He could have, now that I'm thinking about it, we may have also seen the Overgrown Tomb off of the first Cavalier. I think I did see a green. I might have seen a green-black card in there. Oh, maybe we didn't have a land drop hit earlier.
He does have a card in his hand.
Now another Nykthos hitting play here. Okay.
Can make a lot of mana, and then he's probably going to the second.
Another one was hit off of a Stone Festivities. That's where that second Nykthos came from. So this third Nykthos was coming out of hand. And it looks like you are right. It is a Karn that's going to be coming down here, or not? Well, no. That Karn hadn't been used this turn. Yeah, he's grabbing Cauldron. See, he has the Black Source.
He either has the black source or he makes the mana to boot up one of these Hydras on one of these turns. Makes them very large.
Yeah. Yes. Sure.
He also has a lot of looks because he starts drawing cards off of the Kioras when he's playing cool, like big cards off of it.
Yeah.
It's because he got look up Karn here.
Yeah. I thought for a second there he was gonna demonstrate his combo where he's gonna be like, all right, here's him. Because as you and I are aware, viewers at home, I assume are, but maybe not. You can just demonstrate a loop, explain what you're going to do to your opponent, which is what we're probably going to see here from Caleb on this. And instead of physically iterating it each time, he'll pick some silly large number and be like, I'm going to do this many times, and we're both going to end up at however much life, but I'm going to have more mana. And you're going to get put. Yeah, that looks like what's going on right now with an explanation. So
We'll say it looks like he's gonna start iterating this for mana. He can then storm the festivals for black to try to kill, but I don't see how he makes black if he did mill it earlier if he only runs the one.
I mean, I could be wrong. I thought I saw it, but like there's, as previously mentioned, there's glare on the cards.
He can also notably grab a land off of this card.
Off of this.
Yeah.
So if the Overgrown Tomb's in the graveyard, it will eventually put the black into play for him to be able to cast it.
He did play a land this turn, so I don't know if he can put it into play this turn.
Oh, it puts it into your hand.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Sure. It looks like they're discussing something.
I think he's explaining the combo to him and seeing if he has a point to interact with.
Yes. That is okay, and it looks like
Something.
as their life totals race up to infinity from our looks like
I will say,
is conceded the game.
without seeing the black source, I think that might have been premature from Kai.
Yeah.
Because Kai's win, like a lot of decks can't beat just you going infinite health anyway.
Yes.
So you have time to just cobble together the rest of the win on later turn. But this deck having access to their board plan of making a bunch of mana, playing an Omniscience or something else, and then getting a Approach of the Second Sun sideboard,
yes,
playing it, and then playing it again to win the game is how this deck typically wins.
Okay.
So without seeing the Black Source, I think that may have been a little premature from Kai. It was looking pretty grim for him, so I don't hate the fact that he just wanted out.
It is possible also that if he's aware that the Overgrown Tomb exists in the deck, and like if it was shown off of a card in like the previous game, or because Storm the Festivities puts it
Directly into play.
directly in. Oh, no, but the non-chosen cards go into the graveyard or go into the bottom of the deck. So if it was hit off of one of the Storm the Festivities, maybe Kai is aware that it is in the deck and has in fact seen it, and we just missed it because we weren't exactly paying attention. I wasn't exactly paying closest attention this entire time.
I will say there is consideration that like you just make him wait till they find that one, because you again, anytime he has to pass to you in that scenario is another turn to try to win. He had Lear in play, so he can remove the Pithing Needle.
Yes.
So he was in a position where he could make a lot of mana on the following turn. He was like 4 over the pages away from having a really good combo turn if he found that. I think he could have a really turn to pop off there. Otherwise, I don't see how he'd make them.
I know why he conceded there. Kiora untaps any permanent, right?
Correct.
And the layer of the Hydra has trample.
I believe so. We should double check.
We should double check that. We're give me just a sec. I can pull it up from my phone.
I believe so.
So if the layer of the Hydra has trample, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, so it was blockable.
Yeah. Okay. So, hello. Caleb has just walked back here to join us.
Yeah. So hello everyone. I wanted to double check something on your combo. Yeah, I'm assuming your goal was to mill them with the cauldron. It was. Did you have the black source in play?
I can, since I have infinite mana and a card activation, I can get goals from my sideboard, get over.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. All right, cool. There we go. That's what we were trying to figure out. Was like, has Ty seen the Overgrown Tomb? Is its existence known?
Existence is known.
Okay, cool. The other thing we were concerned with is you had used it up. It appeared you used up all your land drops for the turn, so we weren't sure how you were going to get it into play. If it was like in your graveyard or something.
No, goal does that for me.
All right, there we go. Well, if it had been in your graveyard, do you have an out to that, or?
I can get it back with Restorative first.
Okay, so but then you're passing to the next turn to be able to play it in that stage where you.
In that case, yes, I would have to.
Cool.
It is unfortunate if it gets milled.
Okay. Cool.
If there is a way to do it, I'm not aware.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there is.
Typically, that card doesn't get milled just for the mere fact of the only card that mills can put it into play.
Yeah.
So you just choose that card and all that.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
Unless you absolutely need the Nexus instead. It's also another Nexus, right?
I was quite lucky. I ended up during that turn still having a land drop, so I could put in that Nexus, so I could actually, go off.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts about how the match went?
The match is absolutely it's terrible for Lotus Field.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It didn't seem like that went particularly well.
It's a little sometimes they're like, well, I mean, he has Lotus Field on the board and he has mana. What does he have in his hand? Can he just combo off? And then it's like, well, he can't, because I've turned off his Thespian Stage with Pithing Needle. I can get Damping Sphere. I mean, he had the answer for it. And then, it just gets out of hand on my end. He just can't do anything.
I will say, when you were playing with Pithing Needle, we thought the first consideration was you were playing the Pithing Needle while he was tapped out to call Beseju potentially. So you could untap and then...
That is, I know he does not play Beseju because he doesn't own one.
Oh, it's a level of stack that's very good to know. When your opponents simply cannot own that card.
Knowing you don't have to play around a card because your opponent doesn't own it is pretty nice. It is.
Ben, you know if he's on any copies of Odawara?
I'm not aware. He was on the last time I played against him, he was on the base starter deck.
Okay.
So I know he's on some upgrades, but I'm not sure what he has upgraded. But I know he doesn't have safety.
Okay. It's unfortunate they should have waited to release those things until these very important lands came. They could have made LGSs even more money from opening.
Yeah, they put Lotus Gold in it. And Lotus Gold was
I mean, they put 4 Lotus Seeds?
yeah.
Okay.
It was like $10. Now it's like 3.
Yeah, I mean, what the Chandra Torture Defiance when they did the standard challenger decks that she was in, I don't think she dropped as much as everyone was expecting, but she went down. She was like 30 or $40 at the time, and I think she came down to like 25 afterwards.
Yep.
And now she's hanging out somewhere around like 10.
I wish they do that with a 3-mana Chandra. She's a little expensive right now. Yeah, Dropsky.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think she's almost getting close to 50.
Oh wow.
Well, so we're gonna stop the commentary now until next round.
we were able to find a match that was still in progress. We've got I believe Zach, James on. I have no idea what Zach is on, but James is on some sort of red black mid range deck, from what he was saying earlier. And they're just now going to game 2, so this is definitely we might end up seeing a draw here. Something. Okay.
All right.
All right. So
Yeah, we do believe Zach is on vampires today. So it looks like we're going into game 2 of vampires versus black red mid range.
Alrighty. I have no. I'm assuming that this down here at the bottom, our win indicator is correct, and James is up a game. And based on, I saw like the very tail end of the previous game. Based on what I saw there, it looked like that was probably the case. Which deck do you think is favored to take this game 2? Do you think James is going to end up with the win, or that if Zach is going to end up being able to pull out a draw, or maybe even a win here?
So they're both very potent mid-range decks. The big distinction between the two is James' deck is significantly more aggressive on the life total.
Okay.
And Zach's deck actually is aggressive on his own life total with things like Dusk Legion Zealot and Champion of the Dusk if he is on vampires. I think Zach can very easily pull ahead in the event that he lands like a turn 3 Solar into a Champion of the Dusk on 3. Because he just gets a bunch of cards. He has a big 4/4. It's really hard for the red decks to deal with a 4 toughness creature that's higher than 4 CMC.
Okay.
Because the only access to removal for that is like kicking the Blood Chief's Thirst and stuff like that. And that's hard to do. And it really sucks spending your whole turn to remove the 5/5.
Gotcha. I know Fry and there's a 1-mana one that's also
Rending Volley?
Rending Volley. Are either of those applicable in this?
Unfortunately, no, because they hit white or blue creatures.
Okay, see,
and that,
so I don't play.
So unfortunately, Zach's deck is white and black, but the only white creature in the whole deck is Edgar.
And Edgar kind of wants that dead, from what I understand.
Yes. That card is good either mode, so it's not really a detriment to kill him ever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see those come in this matchup.
I really.
I will say, we were talking to James earlier. He does seem to be on a version of Black Red Midrange that has 0 copies of Ob Nixilis, which is fair, given right now Ob Nixilis Point and Standard and Pioneer that is actually not super good for the where it's like for the decks in the format.
Okay.
2 main decks that you really just don't like that card for is Phoenix. You really hate to let them put their Phoenixes in the grave for free, as well as you do not like to see it against Greasefang because they get to bin their Parhelions for free. It makes it really awkward against those 2 matchups.
Yeah, I imagine enabling that. That is generally an issue with uncontrolled what's the non-Thoughtseize style discard spells is in all formats where they show up is the fact that there always seems to be some graveyard deck that you're concerned about enabling, whether it's Reanimator in Legacy, also Reanimator in Modern, or Greasefang is also Reanimator in Pioneer. I think the only format that, from as far as I'm aware, doesn't have an issue with Reanimator is Standard.
I'm not too well versed in Standards of late.
And from what I understand, also Vintage, because there are just better things to be doing with your Mox than reanimating Gristlebrand. You can just put a Yawgmoth bargain into play.
Interestingly enough, he did leave on a Voldaren Epic here, which leads me to believe he's not on the black-white Vampires variant. He could be on a black-red. Mardu. Oh, this is Greasefang. Looks like we had incorrect information.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought somebody had told me Grixis.
What is that? Why is there one face down card? Is that what he was going to draw for turn? I'm assuming, and James had to tell him he was not done yet.
Oh no, that's in a different color sleeve. I assume that card there is his blood token.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I see.
because his sleeves are blue, and that is an orange sleeve, so it looks like that's probably his blood token.
Okay.
And it looks like Can't Stay Away is the card that was. What the hell does this thing do? Return.
It was a reanimator card for Greasefang that has flashback to bring back Greasefang.
Okay. And then if it would die, it goes to exile. Cool. So it's what's that? Disturbs a creature. It doesn't flip it over.
Yep.
Because it puts it into exile at the end, so it's just disturbed for target creature.
Yeah, notably this Can't Stay Away is a really good inclusion from this deck. Out of the black-white variants of the deck. I guess they're all black-white because they're all Greasefang. But this card's really good as on 5 mana, you can land your Greasefang, and if they have a counter spell or mistime the removal spell, you can just immediately Can't Stay Away and still get your guy in play, your Parhelion. In this matchup, I've seen a lot of people play it wrong. You need to play around Can't Stay Away, you need to let them go to combat, get the trigger on the stack, then with the trigger on the stack, remove the Greasefang so that they cannot crew the Parhelion, and then the Parhelion goes back to their hand, so now they have to find a way to bin it again. As well as they can't, in their main phase, just replay the Greasefang before, and then get it again.
Alrighty. So because Greasefang gives it haste, that way it can attack immediately, but it doesn't also crew it at the same time. It just happens to have enough power to crew.
I believe he can crew. It might be enough. I thought he was able to crew any view.
Oh, okay. Let me pull Greasefang up on my phone. I've never played with the card because it's bad. Nice.
All right. Looks like we played Graveyard Trespasser here. It's a really good mid-range threat out of the black decks these days. It's really good for answering grave-based threats like Arclight Phoenix and Greasefang and Parhelion and stuff like that. And then as well as it's a relatively sticky threat that's really obnoxious for the opponent to deal with in a non-board white manner or a counterspell. So Graveyard Trespasser just an all-around all-star in these mid-range decks that are using black as their base.
Yeah. Yeah, word discard a card is not a. I mean, it's not a steep cost, but it is definitely a non-zero cost here.
Yeah, in Pioneer, it's such a format of like card equity. So 2-for-1ing against your mid-range opponent in this format feels almost abysmal. The only decks that can get away with it fairly cleanly are decks that are playing Treasure Cruise that are just getting a +2 when they play their Treasure Cruise.
Yeah.
A lot of them, though, will get buried by Graveyard Trespasser, just if they're spending 1/1 removal and then discarding a card on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes speaking as somebody who plays a pretty significant amount of solitude in both modern and legacy. Sometimes you do just gotta 2-for-1 yourself on that removal for a creature, because otherwise you're just gonna die.
Ooh, Soren the Mirthless from James. This card is an excellent card advantage engine for these matchups, as well as makes bodies to protect itself.
Yeah.
It's a little sad right now in the face of 3 creatures, unless James could find something to remove some of these Voldaren and Epicures, because as it stands right now, Zach can just Alpha Strike at the Soren, and all he really got for this exchange is a 2/3 lifelinker.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it also fly, or is it not a?
It's flying lifelink.
Yeah, flying lifelink. Okay. It looks like all of this is probably going at Soren here, from how Zach indicated. And I know, I know Soren's can be a very powerful Magic card. There's a primarily legacy content creator, Brian Coble, also known as Boschenroll, who is very high on that card in control decks in legacy. So if there are people who are saying it should even see play in legacy, I imagine it's probably quite powerful here in Pioneer.
Yeah, I do believe it's one of the stronger card advantage engines in the format. It's just unfortunately in a format where they're a little too aggressive and fast to the ground for it sometimes. But in these mid-range mirrors, it does seem like an all-star. It's just unfortunate here that James was definitely pared down on the board a lot.
Yeah. Looks like we've got a fatal push there from James to deal with that what did you call the graveyard trespasser? Graveyard trespasser. Thank you.
I'm curious to see how he actually got the.
So the Kiki Jiki.
Oh, leaving like.
Yep. Yeah,
Leaves-
any leaving play at all is what triggers the revolt there. So, which I believe is what he was checking. It probably would have also taken me a second to figure that out if I hadn't literally just seen him flip the card over.
Looks like they did crack the blood to cycle one card, and then looked at a deadly dispute with the Thoughtseize.
So,
I'm kind of curious why he wouldn't cast the deadly dispute.
proper all-star deadly dispute. Maybe you don't want him to see a better card and take a better card, but
You don't have Parhelion or Greasefang here. I think you're just digging to find those cards, and with Can't Stay Away in your graveyard, I don't think you mind either of them going there.
it also, your opponent's starting to take over the board here. It also gives up your only blocker to do that. So is it maybe not where Zach decided that being able to potentially block one of these creatures on the ground here is worth more?
That could be it. It could be somewhere along the lines of the creature on board could be better if you find something like a Kiki Fable, the Mirror Breaker, or something like that as well. Just giving him something to duplicate instead of just. Although copying the Kiki himself is still fine in its own right.
Yeah. So this is a pretty cool interaction here. This Hive of the Eye Tyrant exiles cards from defending player's graveyard whenever it attacks. So that'll help.
Yeah, that's
Zach doesn't have the Parhelion, but it would in theory remove it if it was there.
It did remove the Can't Stay Away, which is a notable thing to hit.
Oh yeah, that card does have flashback. That is a good point.
James looks like he play he played that last one. Looks like it's on the other side of his Night and Day. The Fable of Mirror Breaker.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh yeah, yes. That Fable came down on the turn he cast the Thoughtseize. I believe it was after the Thoughtseize. Because I think that's a
2/2 elf goblin shaman that gets a treasure when it attacks.
Yeah. I believe that Pokemon token that's there, or the Pokemon card that's there in the middle of the screen is his goblin token. It's a Cyndaquil of some sort. I believe he told me earlier.
That purple text on it might be a Delta species Cyndaquil that have psychic typing.
You know what? That sounds exactly like what he said it was earlier. I don't know what any of that means other than psychic typing, but I assume that's cool.
So it's just the normal typing for that Pokemon. That Pokemon's typically a fire, so it's typically a red card. They had a series way back in like Sapphire Emerald days.
Okay.
Where they had a series of Hoenn Pokemon, and as well as some Johto, where they released Delta species, where it was the same Pokemon but a different typing.
Oh, interesting. That's especially strange given that Cyndaquil is only ever pure fire. Like none of its until we got to Pokemon Legends Arceus. None of Cyndaquil's evolutions were anything other than pure fire. And I say that as a person who always picked Typhlosion as his starter Pokemon. So it looks like with 3 minutes left in the round, we've got James taking down the match here. Zach just folding under the pressure of these X2s.
I do believe he might have had lethal there, as he could make a lot of Kiki tokens in the end step and then untap with them and then attack with all of them. And I think he had lethal on that end step.
Yeah, and also the Hive of the Eye Tyrant has Menace as well, I believe.
Yes, he does.
Yes, it does. So that's harder to block, and it looked like Zach was only in 7 life. Zach just may not have had enough creatures to block with if James just turned everything sideways. So
James board plan, we saw a little bit there. Looks like he had triple Go Blank, which is a very good card in the format right now. It's really good in these mid-range decks, and it's really good against a lot of the graveyard decks as well, which happens to be both. Against.
What does Go Blank do?
Go Blank is Mind Rot plus Bomb Your Grave.
Oh, okay.
On the same CMC as Mind Rot.
That's you don't frequently get to call things strictly better, but that is in fact strictly better Mind Rot.
And it's one-sided Bomb Grave too. Not both players.
And neat. Like I said, it's not often you get to say strictly better, but that is definitely I would definitely call that a strictly better Mind Rot.
Yeah, that card sees a lot of play right now in the black mid-range decks, as the big decks you like to play against that with is
Greasefang, I would assume.
Greasefang is one of the really good decks. Archetype Phoenix is another very good deck for it.
Yeah, yes.
And the blue-white control decks really do not like getting mind rotted. Like the bomb grave,
not super relevant.
It's not super strong against them, but them losing 2 cards from their hand for 1 card is.
Yeah, I've played my fair share of blue-white control in Modern. I am very well aware of how much it sucks when your opponent down-ticks their Liliana of the Veil, plays another one, and then does it again. when they just top deck that Liliana, it's like, well, that's nice. I'm glad this is happening to me.
Like sometimes
some of those cards aren't exactly playable anymore. Son of a bitch.
Some people still try.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me if you told me you were one of them.
I haven't in a while, but I think about it often.
You have Titan. I'm sure you're just constantly jamming the pseudo best deck in the format right now.
I just
with,
like
with jamming some Titan in people's
I just
faces.
try to grab all the crayons. All right, so it looks like that was the last round we had playing for round one. We should have round two coming up here for you guys shortly.
Yeah, we'll be back in just a couple minutes for you guys.
All right, it looks like I got a heads up on what the feature match is. It is James from last round, as well as Nico. Nico is, I believe, on Angels today.
Okay.
I think he's on the band variety instead of the green white that you may have seen.
Yeah, although I don't know if that's 100% accurate because I don't know if the game that I saw him playing with V was was an actual event game or if that was just them playing for fun. But I know he does have pretty much every deck in Pioneer, so it could be anything. But I'm pretty sure it's Angels.
I will say, Nico was me, Nico, and my other two teammates for the team event that just happened in Minneapolis. We're all in a call together, and I think me and Nico were of the same thought of if the format devolves into more prowess decks, the Angels could be cracked. So we were both of the assumption that Angels might be just really good right now if you're going to dodge Renota.
Just because of how much raw life gain the deck has.
The deck consistently in the games that it wins is at 40 something life.
Okay, yeah, that's those are commander numbers right there.
So it very quickly gets out of hand with cards like Righteous Valkyrie, which is a 3 toughness creature that whenever another angel enters the battlefield or cleric, you gain life equal to the toughness.
Is it not a 2/4? I thought it was a 2/4.
It may be a 2/4.
I'm pretty sure it's a 2/4. I'm gonna look this up. We have Righteous Valkyrie. It is a 2/4. 3-mana 2/4 flying. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness as long as you have at least 7 more life in your starting life total. Creatures you control get +2/+2. That double anthem is huge, especially once you get 2 of these guys.
The funniest part about this card, in my opinion, is when you play it on Moto, the text box for all of its effect does not fit on the card in your Moto board, like when it's sitting on the board. So you do not see the 2/2 effect. And then you have to hover it and scroll to the 2/2 effects because it's like a space and then the thing. So you literally don't see it. So a lot of opposing players, I played this deck a good amount on Moto. I've had a handful of opposing players say in the chat that they did not realize that they gave 2/2 once I got 7 more life because that text is literally just not on the card until you hover it.
You know, Moto has many issues. We can put that on the list as well. All right, so our players are shuffling up right now.
Looks like our table judge did notice that it is green-white. He did get the deck, which looks like it was green-white angels, not the Bant variety. Nico, I have been talking to Nico a lot lately, and he was really high on the Bant version for the fact that they get access to Lingala, which that makes them very resilient to board wipes.
Okay,
That is one of their own styles.
I was going to ask. Linvala was like the only card I could think of that was an angel that was in blue. At least that I could think of, and is what that's for the Linvala is sacrifice grants indestructible and hexproof to your board.
I believe it's both of those, yes.
Okay.
I know for sure indestructible. That makes the deck resilient to board wipes. I didn't believe that was worth it, but I know Nico likes that a lot. So it's good to see that he's on the green white variety before we start here.
I don't think Nico's doing anything untoward there. And if he was James, whose stream this is actually, whose Twitch account we're doing this stream on, definitely would have said something to him there. So I'm not overly concerned about it.
Yeah, typically you need to be worried of the 5/8 double pile shuffler more than the double 6. The 5/8 on a 60 card deck would put it in the same position. That's what you typically need to look out for double pile.
Although I don't even think Nico knows about that. Like I genuinely don't even think he knows that's an actual thing that you're not allowed to do. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Looks like he had a Giada on 2. That card is very strong out of this deck. It was probably one of the best additions for this deck coming into New Companion. James had a Blood Tithe Harvester, it looks like. Just a 3/2, make a blood token, and then sack to kill stuff. James might be looking to remove this Giada next turn with it. This card, Giada, is what lets this deck go really out of hand really quickly. Getting all those 1/1 counters on your creatures can be very terrifying. Because like coming in here, he gets 1 counter on this, and then the next creature's gonna have 2, and then
Tiny dice.
also notable mention with Giada in this deck is with Mutable. If you have a 3-mana creature you're trying to play, and you're on your 4th land, you can just activate Mutable for a tapped creature that just counts as an angel for an extra counter on them guys.
Yeah, that is a neat thing. It looks like we're just killing that Giada off here.
Yeah, that this deck is very scary, very fast with that. A Coco under that card can be very devastating.
Oh, I imagine that. Yeah, I mean, you're right back.
Looks like he has a second copy of.
Never mind.
Looks like he has a second copy of Coco here. I believe James might want to take the Giada. The Bishop of Wings is nice, but it's not super nice without the Giada either. He'd have to draw another threat.
Temple Garden, Mutavault, Bishop of Wings, Giada is what the is there.
Okay. It might not be Temple Garden. It might be the overgrown farmland from.
No, I'm pretty sure that is Temple Garden because that looks like the
Secret Lair.
Yeah, the secret. I think that's the Secret Lair Temple Garden because I know that Nico bought the 4 set of them, so he could have a full matching set of all of them for Modern because he. I don't know. I mean, I agree with he like. I think he likes those arts, and I agree with him. They're pretty good. I think that was the Temple Garden in the play tap there.
Playing out the Giada, I have to believe James has something like a Bone Crusher Giant here. I feel like Bishop of Wings. It may be just harder for him to deal with.
Whoop. Hold up. Okay.
So I think he just didn't get his life right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like there's the Dreadbore on the Righteous Valkyrie.
Notably, this is James's second turn missing land. This is not what you want to see out of the mid-range deck.
Would you have maybe cracked the blood token to at the opponent's previous end step to try to hit the land drop?
I believe that's the correct play because cards like Resplendent Angel is exactly what you're trying to dodge with that iteration.
Yeah.
Because that would have came in gaining him 5 life there. And then that would have been exactly enough to make a 4/4 Angel at the end step, which would have become an 8/8 and gained 8 more life and been very hard for him to deal with.
There's a Croxa to take another Giada that looks like Nico had drawn up there.
And the funny part about the Giada, even though it's legendary, it's not terrible to see in multiple quantities.
So you can just fire one off to get a new bigger one.
Yep.
Yeah.
As well as it taps for mana for itself because it's also a dork for angels.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's why is what?
It's a guy vigilance flying and taps for itself.
Is this card okay? Who said this card was okay?
Looks like he's gonna attack and boost up his Resplendent Angel, make it a 6/6 lifelink. So now he's gonna make the angel at the end of turn and have a 6/6 angel that comes in.
Oh yeah, geez, this is gonna get real out of hand real quick for Jason.
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, does the mid-range deck have any board clears to come back from this, or
in the main, more than likely not, and in the board, the black-red version probably runs like Anger of the Gods and things like that, which are really weak into 4 toughness creatures.
yeah,
Now, like half the creatures have 4 toughness.
yeah, that's kind of a problem there, huh?
The big problem, the reason why I think this deck the angel deck is actually really well positioned is a lot of the removal is burn based.
Okay, a lot of it's red, so it's damage based removal,
and a lot of the creatures in this deck have very large butts.
Okay,
like Bishop of Wings, 2-drop 1/4.
Yeah,
Valkyrie, 3-drop 2/4. Giada makes everything bigger. It's the only one that's big enough to get bolted, but it makes everything else huge. If you're on the 1-drop, it's a 1-drop 1/1. So that one's not as good.
are you talking about the Vigilance lifelink guy that taps to make angels when you're at 7 life and start to connect total, whose name I can't remember?
It's Bishop of something or another.
Oh well.
Yeah. If you're on that, that's the only other removable creature. Otherwise, you have 3/3 in Resplendent Angel, which there's a lot of shocks in the format.
Yeah.
And then often, if you have a Giada on 2, you can play him on 3 as a 4/4 and isn't removed.
Joey had like super zoomed in, I guess. Okay. So what do you think are the sideboard cards we're going to be seeing out of the Green White Angels?
Against James, I could see for sure Shaper Sanctuary.
Shaper Sanctuary is
One
one
drop,
mana green card,
artifacts.
green enchantment.
That's enchantment.
Yes, enchantment. Whenever your opponent targets your creatures with something, you get to draw a card.
And I believe it's your permanents. It's either the only thing they're going to be targeting in this matchup is your creatures,
Yes, because you don't have any other permanent.
other than the Shaper.
I can spend.
So it is very potent against their. It is a creature. It is very potent against these mid-range decks in the format because they're just trying to one-for-one you the whole time and put you at parity.
And Sanctuary will quickly pull you out of that with drawing a lot of cards.
Yes. It makes it so the only reasonable out is board wipes, and there's not really good board wipes in black and red for the Angels. Like, you get Anger of the Gods, but it's often not good enough. And if they resolve the Righteous Valkyrie before their other Angels or Giada,
It's just not going to do it.
yeah.
I mean, it's not even going to kill the Righteous Valkyrie. You have to follow that up with an additional removal spell of some sort.
And the Youthful Valkyrie, the 2-drop, is a 1/3 that gains a counter every time you play an Angel.
The synergy.
Yeah. So this deck very quickly gets out of it.
Yeah, that really does seem.
In my opinion, I think this is one of the decks in the format that is really just really on that very, very close to tier 1 but tier 2 form. Because tier 1 is just littered with just very oppressive and fast decks.
Gotcha.
And I think the reason it's super good right now too is there's a lot of prowess decks that are going around to try to just punish things like Winota, Lotus Field, Mono Green, which are weak to either red removal or fast threats, which all those decks have those.
Yeah. I mean, Prowess has Monastery Swiftspear. I think at this point now, the poster child for things that hit hard and go fast.
Which is, funnily enough, not the best creature in the deck, and it almost always, when you play those decks, it feels like Soulscar Mage.
Oh, sure, yes. That makes sense. The -1/-1 counters that Soulscar Mage leaves behind are, I mean, that thing can kill a Cauldron Complete, so, you know.
Funnily enough, it's probably one of the best cards to be able to beat Mono Green, because when they put their big 5/6 reach in front of you, you put 4 1/1 counters on it with like Reckless Rage. When they cop to try to block, and you just cleanly kill it. Without trading.
What you're 1/2 into a 2/3, and then all of a sudden they have a 1/2. Yep. So yeah, that's a problem there, guy.
Yeah. So
that's what we call a combo. Well, not really. Doomsday is a combo.
But yeah, no. As we saw here, we did see a massive amount of life gain. It looked like James had taken a card from Nico there to try to prevent him from gaining too much life, so he wasn't like too unachievable once he tried to turn the corner. By taking the Bishop of Wings instead of the Giada.
Yeah.
But the top deck of the Resplendent Angel after that was probably just like nightmare scenario, because he was able to go Giada into Resplendent Angel, get a counter on it.
Yeah.
And then Nico drawing, seemingly flooding, but being able to get to 6 lands to activate the Resplendent Angel when James didn't have another removal spell was backbreaking for James, it looked like.
Yeah. It looks like both of our players are on 6 here, maybe? I might be wrong about that. Yeah, but they're both leading on tap lands.
It did look like James flashed us a Fable the Mirror Breaker, which is a really
I do believe it is. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. The that very first card that laid down. It looks like is the extended overgrown farmlands, which I was pretty sure what Nico was on for his overgrown farmlands. I know he does very much like all of his cards in his deck to be matching. So whatever art he decides he likes the most, he will have a completely matching set of. So, and he's got it looks like the extended art green light pathways.
This is a really good hand out of Nico.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got a very good.
What's the card right in front of the Resplendent Angel?
So it looks like it's Sky in order. The 2 lands: Skyclave Apparition, Bishop of Wings, Resplendent Angel, Giada, and then Youthful Valkyrie.
Okay, cool. Youthful Valkyrie is a 2-drop. You said
2-drop gets a counter every time you play an Angel.
Okay, and it looks like James taking the Resplendent Angel here.
You have to think that James might have a really good answer for Giada in this scenario.
I think he's leading up a red mana. I would assume so.
Just because Gyara's like one of those cards that puts them ahead on mana and makes it really hard for them to
Yeah, I think being able to jump from 2 to 4 is
while still being an aggressive threat as it has vigilance.
yeah, and makes all of your things bigger. And Nico's opting to lead here on the Bishop of Wings, not exposing that powerful two, or exposing a different powerful 2-drop, I guess. One that might not necessarily be quite so cleanly answered as the removal that James has in his hand here.
Also, James plays the Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
He's gonna try to get his own little bit of ramp going on here. We got that Pokemon coming back in to be his Goblin Shaman token. James quite fond of Pokemon, especially Cyndaquil, if I recall correctly. Oh my god.
Looks like we got a 3. Oh, looks like he peeled a Righteous Valkyrie. It's going to gain 4 here. You can see that very quickly this deck just gains a lot of life and gets very in a safe range. This deck often can just take hits from big Winota turns, just merely off the fact of how much life they gain leading up to it. James has to be very scared here, too, of a second Resplendent Angel. If Nico finds one of those, he is in complete nightmare state. Looks like James opts to pitch 1 card. Looks like he's got some gas in his hand, at least, and he's not opting to pitch more than that.
One of those good old fall. I think those are the swamps that have the misprint where they have the skeleton text on them. We might be wrong about that, but
Looks like he had a fatal push for the.
Off a treasure. He doesn't have the treasure.
Yeah, get attacked, got a treasure, and then sacked the.
Yep, and then now he's jumping the thing with his big wings.
Declared attack, and then before blockers declared, pushed the.
Yeah,
the treasure you got on attack declaration. And then he blocked, and then played post combat blood tithe. I think they just shortcutted the action.
Yeah. That does. Well, I was about to say, is there? Yeah. No, I don't know what I was thinking. That I was trying to think if maybe there was some reason to have maybe let Nico go to blocks, but that the creature doesn't have trample, so it's not that wouldn't really make a difference at all. And then they almost forgot the spirit token that Nico is going to gain off of his Bishop of Wings here.
Often forgotten about text on that card. It's like one of the reasons why you're not super worried about.
Skyclave on the Fable here to shut off James's ability to make a bunch of 2/2s that'll help him accelerate on mana.
But yeah. Okay.
All right. We haven't. Looks like there's a push on the Skyclave.
Yeah, he gets a 3/3 for the exchange. I don't think he hates being in that position.
The backside of that card is 3/3 also, I think.
Is a 2/2 with the Kiki-Jiki ability for a mana.
Oh, okay. They will. Give me a second while I pull this up. Here. That's probably good enough. Well, Scryfall is incredibly slow and loads. We can go back to here.
That Legion's End, it looks like, on the Bishop of Wings.
Oh yeah, so that'll take any. That goes through the deck, or is it just pull cards out of the hand?
Out of the hand, I believe.
Okay, unfortunate, not able to steal all those out of the deck. And then yeah, you were correct. It is a 2/2. It's of course because Kiki-Jiki was a 2/2. Is a 2/2. Will be.
Jim's going on the aggressive here. He's really just trying to tempo his opponent out of the game right now, just trying to commit as many threats. Next turn, if he doesn't, Nico is really just trying to find Coco here. If he plays a creature that has 4 toughness, James then gets to trade one of his Blood Tithe Harvesters for it by sacking it. And it looked like he had 3 drops in his hand. If he still got
Increase the number of blood. I missed. All right, cool. I was confused as to how that killed the Giada.
Well, James now has to be terrified of Mutavault for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because I I don't know that there's a way to even field rune. There's not really a good way to deal with that in once it's on the land.
You just gotta hope they activate it. That's about it. Otherwise, you're just picking up your cards. And most decks, some decks run beside you, like Lotus Field, and some green decks just run it because they can instead of a forest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty scary when people have that in play. The life gain he'll get from other things makes it good on its own, and then the added effect of just going, I can't lose the game anymore, makes it kind of insane sometimes.
Looks like we're getting 2 blocks here out of Nico, which will that youthful Valkyrie and the Goblin token are just going to bounce off each other, and
That is a scary block for him. And James is only on 1 card left, but you have to be scared of Bone Crusher there. Bone Crusher just puts you on nothing in play. Oh, and that's a very scary spot to be in.
yeah,
It's like Nico got another land.
but not a still no Mutavault. So
It's a second Giada. If I was James, I might trade one of my Blood Tides here for Youthful.
just to guarantee that the other one can continue to get in unless Nico wants to give up Giada.
I'd even say there's a consideration to trade both of them to put them on Hellbent No. Noxious Graph, very powerful.
Okay, giving that creature -4/-4. That's big here.
Puts the -4, it just destroys it.
Oh, it's just destroy. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Grasp of Darkness.
That's
Thank
what I
you.
thought you were thinking.
Yep. Yeah. And
He's got to be looking to trade here.
yeah, and he's opting to go for the Goblin token that's making James mana instead of one of the 3/2s that's a removal spell. That's interesting. James bins away his goes down to 1 blood token.
Oh, it looks like
He goes down to no blood tokens to try to dig deeper into his deck for some action here. Binning. Okay,
Nico
still
does that once. He does have 3 lethal attackers. One
All
creature
right,
never
yeah,
does it there.
I missed that Nico was still sitting at 1. That was Nico was pretty much just drawing there to the Mutavault. It looked like
Yeah, it's just trying to find the Evil Book combo.
neat. So I haven't had a chance to show you these, but I the World Championship cards,
Yeah.
right? The proxies that they give you for like tokens or whatever. The blank cards. I bought a bunch of those, and I've been making my own tokens on them, which is what I intended to do, and I bought 20 of them. And my illusion token, all of them are actors for like semi-famous characters. My illusion token is the actor that played Banks in Hocus Pocus, whose name I can't remember. Sean Murray. He's the actor who played Banks in Hocus Pocus.
I will say,
It's got like they've got a bunch of really weird, obscure tokens. My shark token for control in Modern, Taylor Lautner.
it's Shark Bait.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say there'd be a fun consideration to have on your copy token something like the actor who played the main character in the really silly movie Master of Disguise.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I have for spirit tokens. I have the original voice actress for Casper the Friendly Ghost. I have 2 birds for CEDH. It's Carol Spinney, which is the original actor for Big Bird. Germ tokens, because I play Batterskull and Cauldron Complete. Is Lawrence Fishburne. He voiced Thrax in the 2001 movie Osmosis Jones. I think that's all of them. That might not be. That's all. Sorry, that Shorokai deck. The pilots are Anton Yelchin, the actor that used to play Chekhov in the new Star Trek movies. I had one more that was very good that I thought was great that I forgot. Oh, Angel tokens are David, the guy who played Angel in Buffy. I can never pronounce his last name.
Borealis.
Boreanaz,
Borealis.
I think.
It's like almost Aurora Borealis.
Yes. Yeah, seeing that because I keep like moving my illusion token off to somewhere else instead of with D&T. So I'm like, I need illusion tokens. We'll just use this upside down card with a die on it. I considered making like 1, 2, 3, 4 for illusion tokens. But one day I'm probably gonna get like double triggers off that thing somehow and exile 2 things and then have a problem. All right, so I don't think we saw. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know if you were paying attention. I don't think either player really sideboarded here.
And I believe they kept their same 60. They submitted last game.
Okay. It looks like Nico might be going for a mulligan here.
Yeah, I think James kept his first.
That does look like that's 7 cards. Looks like Nico's picked his one to go on the bottom. That was a pretty quick decision. Either a really bad one or a really good hand.
You could expect it to be a fourth land if it's that pick fast. You normally only want 3 unless you have a Coco in the hand, but the deck's pretty high to get land. It's like one of the higher up mana curves just because you have Coco at the top.
What's James' deck curve out at?
I believe it tops at 4 as well. For we saw Soul in the Mirthless.
Oh yes.
We also typically see like Chandra Torch of Defiance out of this deck.
Okay, cool. We had that Nico slamming that Bishop of Wings on 2, and James had the fatal push to get it right out of his house.
It always feels good to be in these mid-range decks. Looks like a
there it is. There's that Shaper's Sanctuary.
Unfortunately, he didn't have it on 1. He didn't have Temple Garden, so he wasn't able to play it before the Bishop and get the redraw for clearing the Bishop.
Yeah, and now James is going to stomp him in the face, making sure that he's not going to give Nico a card for that. Now he's hopefully going to hit a land drop, and
I believe he's looking to just
land right
and bone
here.
pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of things on. I guess he has things on 4 that answer. Oh no, we're getting Graveyard Trespassers. All righty.
Kind of surprised to see the stop and step without the Bone Crusher to follow up. That's normally like, I want to use my mana and get this 4/3 out this next turn.
Yeah, especially because it looked like he top decked a land there, so he knew he had the Graveyard Trespasser. It might be he thought Nico didn't have any plays to make.
Looks like he's playing a Coco.
Yeah, this looks like this is Collected Company. I believe that is the game day promo from the Store Championships. Yes, Collected Company. That is. There we go. And then the token that we've got sitting on the board here was the Nico was grabbing the Day Night token for Graveyard Boy thing.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to gain 4 life here from his Bishop and the Resplendent entering at the same time. Fortunately, the deck isn't as absurd as it could be.
Resplendence triggers on 5.
So just the Bishop does not just let you get a 4/4 for free.
Alrighty.
Which is very fortunate because that would be an absurd combo of a curve out, just a 2 into 3 and get a 4/4 for your troubles.
That'd be wild. I think is what I'd be going for there.
It's like James had the Dreadball for the Resplendent. That's good. That's good for James. Nico does get a redraw, so it's not the best case scenario, but
Yeah, he is just going to be getting value whenever James points those removal spells over at his creatures. We got the chump here from that spirit token that James just gave him. Not being able to.
I'm rather surprised he gave up the spirit when James has double black open, it appears, as he is unable to like use a bolt effect on it. And it's a Bishop is a 1/4, I believe.
Why?
So the Trespass was only a 3/3, so it would have lived the attack. So he would have kept the spirit in play.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I don't know if he's like very worried about like because you wouldn't be worried about red removal there because he again
Double black.
here.
Did he play the land? Did James maybe play that land after?
He may have post combat.
Yeah, he may have done it post combat. I missed it there. But and it looks like okay, Nico did in fact. Oh, he discarded. Is that a Mutavault I see over there? I think he discarded a Mutavault. It looks like.
Yeah, it appears to be a Mutavault.
That was pitched to the
Skyclave target grave. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the ward cost on the backside?
It's still discard a card. He gains.
Nico's trying to attack with that Skyclave that he just played this turn. That's not how that works.
Honestly, James might be actually a little elated that he didn't hit anything really disgusting with that Gyata, and that he didn't have more angels in play with it as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would assume.
So that's probably one of the more fortunate hits, to be honest, for James to see. Skyclave being on the ground, it's not hitting him too much. He's got the Bone Crusher to stand in front of it to give him a dude if he tries to attack in.
Yeah. And here's a spot. Well, I guess no. James had double black up, so he wouldn't have been able to crush Bone anyway. But maybe if he would have liked to. Ooh, wow, that is something else, huh?
Yes, he's going to gain 4 life here and get 2 1/1 counters on this. Oh, 1/1 counter.
Yeah, he only has one other angel. But this pushes Nico over that 27 life, that very crucial 27 life threshold. So all those creatures are bigger. That Jihad is now a 4/4. The Bishop of Wings is a 3/6. Skyclave is a 4/4. Man, I wish my Skyclaves were 4/4s on regular days. I try to put Swords of Fire and Ice on them, and people just freaking lightning bolt them. Or Unholy Heat without Delirium, and I am so sad every time they do. All I want to do is have this unblockable, unkillable 4/4 that hits you for 6 and draws me a card. Looks like
It looks like they're doing the math, see how much it can actually take here. James has no favorable blocks.
Jihad is flying, right? So
Flying Vigilance.
the only thing he can block is the Bishop.
Yep.
Of Wings, and just give up that. That's rough. Just give up the Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, that is not looking good for our hometown hero here. Oh, but James has the Fatal Push.
Also kills the Bishop of
Oh
Wings.
wow, because it loses the 2 toughness. Takes 2 cards off the board. Nico should be getting a Spirit token here. Okay,
Yep, looks like
he
he's
got
got
that. And James is in a much better situation than he was
James
to the
is
start of that.
actually in a position where if he did have Anger of the Gods, it'd actually be very potent here, not refilling Nico, but also clearing his board and giving him a 3/3.
And Nico had missed the Shaper Sanctuary trigger there, and James was being quite kind and letting him grab that trigger. Although, actually, I think that's just the correct fix anyway. It's no extra information is gained. He's just assumed he wouldn't have played the card.
It's a detrimental trigger, isn't it?
Oh, it's a beneficial trigger. So yeah, so James opted to place it on the stack. Yeah. So James opted to place it on the stack. I don't know. It's also a local.
Yeah.
The rule for locals is deviate like hell. Fix the board state if you can.
I'm actually quite surprised. I'm sad. James is probably quite sad here. He didn't have an extra land, so he could go stomp on the Skyclave, get a 3/3, and then play the Bone
Would
Crusher.
you stomp the Skyclave or would you stomp the Giada so that way your opponent's creatures aren't coming in bigger?
I think you're concerned about that, but you need to get to the board and start hitting them. I think putting 2 big creatures in play like that,
Okay.
especially when Nico's low on resources right now, to try to pressure his life total.
Okay. So this is an attack for 5, where for some reason Giada's been tapped. There we go. Untapping the Giada. Before blocks, James is gonna Fatal Push that thing and get himself a
3/3, and then
a
block his 3/3 on the 2/2 and get another 3/3.
No. Both of those creatures fly. And the
Skyclave?
other Skyclaves
Wasn't attacking.
He pushed the wrong. Interesting. He pushed the Skyclave that was attacking instead of the Skyclave that had just entered. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
if he had gone for the Skyclave that had just entered, we would have definitely seen there'd be 2 3/3s here, and I think James would be in a much better spot.
He did have a portable hole, so he'd be down to 1 3/3, but
But I mean, 1 3/3 is better than none 3/3.
yeah, for sure.
Like I wouldn't hate the spot James is in right now, as opposed to,
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for James right now.
like I said, looking pretty rough for our hero. Assuming that red black mid range is the hero, I don't know. I do generally have negative opinions of Jund and its ilk.
Mid range is normally the hero in my book, but
I don't know, man. I think mono white aggro / control is the hero. Any format where I can't play death and taxes is a format that's unhealthy.
James Mana also very weird here. I think he's got 3 black sources and 1 red.
Yeah, it looks like he does. It looks like that might be an Urmor over there at the far end, although I could be wrong about that. It might be something else that I'm just missing. I don't even see the very edge of the art, but it is definitely a black source. So he's missing. I don't know how important. Well, I guess double red's very crucial for that anger of the gods we were talking about.
I think I just saw him flash a Chandra Torch of Defiance, which is turned off right now.
Yeah, and here's just a slammed Bone Crusher.
I feel like it might be better
Lock
in
the Sky
James's.
Just so you're not giving your opponent cards.
I guess everything else is in the air. You're not going to put your Skyclave copies in front of anything. I just feel like the loss of value might be a little much.
But like you're getting a 3/3, but you're giving your opponent a card. I think.
But then you also have a 4/3 in the back of that as well. So like you're getting 2 bodies out of their 1 extra card, and they use 1 body. I think it's
I don't know. I think it's
close for sure.
You can definitely convince me because of efficient use of mana that both options are correct. One of them is, I mean, like I think this is one of those things where we're not going to know which of the options was actually correct in the moment until
The game's unfolded.
until like 3 or 4 turns from now. We'll probably see. Oh, okay, and there we go. That's just looks like that's just going to be the concession out of James. I don't even know. Oh, looks like that's a brutal Cathar over there. The the double feature version. So it's black and white, bit more difficult to identify there. But James had double Chandra Torch of Defiance in his hand, and Nico was gonna O-ring that Bone Crusher giant and kill James actually with his life total.
I think it might have been. I don't think it would have changed the game, but that one turn where he spent removing a Skyclave, but removed the wrong Skyclave.
Yeah, I think not having 3/3 and not removing the extra attacker there was huge.
I think he gets an extra turn. I don't know if that changes the course of the game because Nico was 28 life and a lot of features in play.
Yeah, I think I think you just end up in a world where Nico has a couple less life. Like maybe Nico's at 22 and Righteous Valkyries aren't quite as scary. We've got 17 minutes left. I might go see if we can hear some words from our victor on this match, or if maybe we can get another match started up over.
Wow, is that only one boarded in Shaper Sanctuary out of Nico here?
Is that the wow? All right,
if that's his only copy. It is extremely fortunate.
You know what? I am definitely curious to hear what hear from him now. I'm definitely gonna go see.
Let's see if he's on board with other stuff now. Unfortunately, he's doing it. Oh, okay, he's got more. He's got
okay. That was just the one that was in play.
Yeah, typically you see anywhere from like 2 to 3 in the board. Okay, just because these 1-for-1 decks just cannot come into the card.
I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna go see like if we can maybe find another match that's maybe still going on to get another match on camera, so we don't got potential 16 minutes of dead air. I'll be right back. You can feel free to keep talking.
Okay. Looks like he had Rust in Pieces in his deck as well. I'm not entirely sure if that's entirely necessary against the black-red mid-range deck. It stops Croxa specifically, but I don't think you're needing to 1-for-1 with Croxa on that level, like the 1-for-1 answer with it, but looks like Nico thinks it's worth it. I guess it also turns off things like Kolagon's command from being 2-for-1s for a creature back. This is really just goes to show off the power of Green White Angels. It's really potent into decks that are trying to 1-for-1 and stuff like that. Like Coco decks. Coco is just such a powerful card to just pull ahead from those decks. And James not having access in black-red to a board wipe that's good enough for this deck really just hurts, especially in the face of Shaper Sanctuary.
So I was just out at our table with, talking to Nico. He's getting his deck a little more randomized before the next round starts, and he said he'd probably come back here to give us a few words for our viewers at home. There is a possibility of another match jumping on here to fill these last 10 or 15 minutes we got. We still have Mono Green Devotion, piloted by Caleb, which we've already seen up here, and Josh on I believe is it Phoenix, right? Yeah, they're in game 2 right now, and I let them know that if they happen to go to game 3, they're more than welcome to move over to coverage to fill some air. So,
be a fun time. This will be Josh's. If he goes over this, will be Josh's first night on Phoenix. He borrowed it for me literally shortly before this tournament.
And didn't he used to play Arclight Phoenix when it was a deck in Modern, or am I thinking of someone else?
I think you think of someone else in our friend group named Darren, who was had that deck played a good.
Okay, cool, yeah. No, because I don't think I knew Darren when Arclight Phoenix was a thing. I think I'm thinking of remember Jake Summers?
Yes.
Yes, he was. I think he's what I was thinking.
Josh, as of late, played a lot of Urzatron.
Yeah, no, Eldrazi-tron.
Oh yeah,
Eldrazi-tron in Modern. Yes. Yeah.
Hello, Nico.
Hello.
So, any thoughts about how that matchup went that you want to?
It was frightening.
It was frightening.
Yeah, and like literally, like you watched the game too. Like at any moment, he just blows me out with all the removal. So Shaper Sanctuary coming into play there.
Yeah. It's like I don't know that game one didn't seem particularly frightening when it stuck on two lands.
Yeah, thankfully, right. Thankfully that helps.
So is game 3 when I was watching you on board? Did you have rest in pieces boarded in?
I did.
What were those for?
The Croaks.
Specifically, just the Croxa?
Just the Croaks, because I don't have any way to deal with that card.
Well, you have Skype apparition.
I guess. But like
It's not get it. It's like yeah, you also have Coco. It's scary. Like I mean, I don't know. You're the you're the one who I've played. I said this at the start of the stream, and I'll say it again. I have never played Pioneer. Not a single. Okay, I don't want to say not a single game, but if I had, it was like when the format first came out, and it was like maybe 3 games. So I've played effectively 0 games of Pioneer in my life. So like you're the one who's obviously the pilot. Like, so maybe you're right, but is the Croxa really that scary?
Well, it's alright. So it does the Croxa, but it also turns off the graveyard trespassers, so we can't gain and drain me, which is nice because there's nothing left in the yard there.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Are those the only 2 things?
Also, you might be boarding them to.
Yeah.
I was considering the thought of if he's running Culligan's commands to try to stop the graveyard grab back as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. Which I would imagine he would be on at least 2, because that deck is so good. I love that deck too. But the fatal pushes are frightening. So the
I'm
deck is
actually
literally
surprised
every creature.
One of the turns, it was actually surprising. You had 2 Skyclave apparitions, and you're attacking with one, and one had just entered to kill eat a Bone Crusher.
Yeah.
And he opted to hit the one you were attacking with instead of the one that you had Bone Crusher under. And he could have eaten that one, got your 3/3, and blocked the other one, and had 2 3/3s in play before you portable hold it.
Yeah.
And he opted out of doing it.
And he opted out. Let's not tell him about it. But no, yeah, the portable holder actually clearing the way of getting rid of the token helped probably more than it should. Just like that card, like you have to like really know the matchups well enough to be like, all right, are they keeping in 2-mana things? Like, are they obviously Croxa, you have the Fletching Harvesters, like all those important things. And like in game, I think it was game 2 where I Skyclaved the Fable, like that was like a mental thing too, because I'm like, do I just get rid of the clock or do I let him have the thing that stuff? Because all he needs to do is play another one. I can't risk him just having 3 removal all the time. So
It's really scary in the face of. Is it non-legendary Fable?
yeah, it's a blind.
On the Fable?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I figured it had the same Texas Kiki once you're activated.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
That's what I was thinking. If you just go ETB on Croxa, copy a Croxa, take 2 cards.
That would be gross.
Just stack your new token copy and just
We're really only
Stack it either way. Anyway.
yes. Yeah, it's already going away, so you just choose to keep the real one and just lightning people to death.
I was just thinking, just on a caster and Croak, so you can just make another one with the Evo. Not the Evo, but
Oh yeah, sure, that too.
but unfortunately, it's not. So.
Not quite.
Of course, yeah. But no, yeah, you gain a stupid amount of life. Oh my god. I heart you too, baby. That was for you.
Get your channel points. These for watching on here. I think we're gonna maybe take a break for a minute here. Let Nico decompress. So ready for the next match.
And they did. So
Yes. Yeah. It looks like we probably won't end up, regardless, just because of how little time we have. We probably won't end up coming back to you with another match. But we'll see. There's only, like, as you can see, there's only 9.5 minutes left in our round clock here. So, you got any more thoughts before we go away to take a break?
I'm curious to see what we see next round. If is it Caleb versus Josh right now for the?
Yes. So it's Caleb versus Josh right now. So our next match will be Nico
versus
Yeah, it will be Nico versus whoever wins there. Actually, it could be if Aquino won in his match. Aquino lost. Whoever was against Aquino won in their match. Because Aquino, I forget who Aquino's playing. Somebody, whoever's playing Aquino I believe was undefeated.
Okay, they got the pair down.
Yeah. Because there's 10 people here. So if whoever Aquino was playing won their match, then I believe we will, which I think was Ethan, will likely see we could potentially see somebody else up in the
I will
feature
say-
match, and I will try to. I was picking the people. I'll try to make sure that happens.
Yeah, I will say for Nico's sake, out of that Josh versus Caleb, he wants Caleb to he wants Josh to win there because the mono green matchup can be very bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the combo being able to go over top of it is on top of the fact.
Oh yeah. Who cares if even though you also care about life gain, who cares that your opponent just gave you 1,000,000,000 life when they're hitting you with an even larger creature?
Yeah, and they also have the ability to put a 5/6 reach into play, which is very hard for the Angels to actually get through. With the Cavalier Riftthorns, it can be a very hard matchup.
Okay, that'll be that'll definitely be interesting to see. I guess we'll have to we may not end up, depending on how our matches tonight have shaken out, we might not end up seeing that match, or maybe we will. Well, like you said, it'll entirely depend on how Josh and or it'll depend on how two of our matches that are off camera right now have shaken out. I think we'll try to prioritize showing off people that are judge. Yeah, he keeps coming up with more cards named Pioneer. He hit a really good one on Wednesday. I completely forgot the place. But he had a great one that was up there at the start of the stream on Monday. That was very good one. So yeah, well, now that we're under 7.5 minutes, I think we're almost definitely not going to see Josh and Caleb on stream. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with round 3 for you guys. Apologies for the bit of catch up here. You're seeing two people we've seen before. Unfortunately, we were. You okay there, Bob? Don't go breaking the computer. Unfortunately, we were unable to get our other 2-0. Unfortunately, we were unable to get our other 2-0 up on stream as he got the pair down, and we try to maintain. We were told we're supposed to make sure we keep the undefeateds up on stream when possible. So you got Nico and Caleb back here. I believe you were previously saying this is the exact matchup Nico was hoping to dodge.
Yeah, I think out of the two options he had,
Give us just a sec. We're gonna mute the microphone real quick. We'll be right back, guys. Okay. Right.
yeah. So the options he had for the other undefeated was an Arclight Phoenix player, and I think Nico does not care about that deck as much. He has a bunch of flyers, a lot of life gains. It's really hard to pressure him out of the game. I think against this deck, there's a lot of realistic scenarios where you lose that aren't flooding and stuff like that.
Okay. I mean, he seems to have had a fairly strong start here at the start of the game with looks like 2 Bishop of Wings and what's the 1/3?
Youthful Valkyrie.
Useful Valkyrie. Thank you, and also a portable hold to take away one of the dorks from Caleb. But Caleb seems to just be going anyway.
Yeah. Nico really looks to be wanting a some iteration of Coco or Resplendent Angel or Coco into Resplendent Angel, as he's got the double bishop. So after that, every angel entering will trigger.
Hear me out. Coco into double Resplendent.
Oh, it looks like he grabbed Graph Digger's Cage to turn him off of it. It does unfortunately take him off of his Storm the Festivals. He's not able to put creatures into play.
He's okay with it.
I think it's a fine trade-off to not have Coco on the table for your opponent,
Yeah.
as well as he can still Storm the Festivals and put lands and planeswalkers to play.
Yeah, and it doesn't at all shut off his infinite loop. So he can still do all of it.
Nico did find the Resplendent Angel. The card we said he did need to be worried about. So we're going to count on the Youthful Valkyrie and gain 8 life here. He was already at 34 life. Oh, is that a Giada after the fact? I feel like that's the wrong order for those two.
Yeah, I'd have to assume so, right? Like, you could have a bigger Resplendent Angel. Just having you just gave up
two
one.
counters.
You gave up one
Yeah,
power for no reason.
Yeah. But he is now going to make a 4/4 at the end and then gain another 8 life from it.
So, okay, hear me out. Is there any reason to have held the Giada to guarantee making another 4/4 next turn?
I'm in agreement with that, honestly. You're in top deck mode to make 4/4s.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, we're missing the 4/4 trigger here.
And he'll then gain 8 life. If he looks like he's picking it up, he's seen enough.
Caleb's decided 42 life, or 50 life. Sorry.
See,
Just too insurmountable.
I will say the deck does have ways to like not kill through lethal, like we saw earlier with the combo he runs. He's very far off from that and probably going to get run down before that, so that's probably why he's picking it up. But he is on one of the decks in the format that can actually beat that like high amount of life total.
He might have just had too many do nothings in his hand, too many Llanowar Elves, too many Oath of Misses. Like that is the downside of playing cantrips and well, I guess less of the downside of playing cantrips. But that is the downside of playing those little creatures or multiple copies of Planeswalkers, or like 4 of copies of Planeswalkers, is sometimes you do just have extra ones of those sitting around, and when you really don't want them to be.
Yeah.
It also looked like Nico emptied his hand there too.
Yeah, he was hellbent on there, but he had a very impressive board state.
Yeah, I mean that was given that his opponent had just put a Graph Digger's Cage into play to shut off his Cocos. I think I would call that best case scenario for the Angels player.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know anything about this format, but I'm a quick learner, and also, at least I think I have pretty colorful commentary. Don't worry. You may have missed it earlier, or may have missed it earlier on in the stream. But I've been asking Nick a lot of questions, and some of them were real dumb. yeah, man. The next time you're watching, unfortunately, we don't have access to being able to set up bets. But like normally on Mondays, when James is back here, he'll do bets on people bet their channel, like set up betting channel points. Who's going to win?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way. Like I'm pretty sure you could have like made me a mod and I'd be able to fire it off. But yeah. I'm glad you agree with my logic there, Adam. I probably could have asked him to make me a mod, and I could have been firing him off, but I was like, it seems like effort. Let's indeed.
Alf starts, very good. Oh, another portable hole-on-one. You really hate to see it as the mono green player. If you don't have like specifically extra elves on this turn or Wolf Hollow Haven, you're kind of doing nothing on 2 mana. So it's pretty sad to see that. I do see he's got a Besiju. He could Besiju the portable hole. I don't really think
I was about to ask. I don't think that's a very good play, but it is an option. It is a play that is available to him. I think if I'm
backup elves.
I think if I'm him and I'm going to do that, I'm not doing it until my opponent's in step.
Yeah. The big thing that this
Then you're pushing, sorry, hold on. Then you're pushing him straight to 4 mana on his next turn, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. The big thing here is Nico having that turns him off of turn 3 Cavalier Thorns. Because having Dork on 1, Dork on 2 is turn 2 Cavalier.
Oh, yes.
And that is very hard for that deck to surmount. So putting it off a turn, even by 1 turn, is very good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just being able to Coco immediately after, I imagine, would be a huge deal as opposed to having to wait another turn.
Yeah.
Specifically since Caleb gets to be
playing out the Pelucranos. Looks like he boarded in Pelucranos. It'd be pretty good to start dealing with some of these creatures.
Yeah, I mean, removal spells against the creature deck seems pretty good.
And it's actually this is main board. Actually, this is game 1.
No, this is game 2.
This is game 2.
Oh yeah, game one went crazy fast.
Okay, it was a 9-minute game 1.
Yeah, no, not even. It was like a 5.5-minute game 1. It took them 3 minutes to get to this point with sideboarding.
Yeah, I got really confused for a second, thinking that Pelucranos was main board.
Nico has a point down there. I know it went so fast with that Nico rocketing up to 50 life in 2 turns.
This is the recipe to have a good start to a game. He would have loved to have had like a Giada on 2 there. So like his turn into a Splendent after the Righteous Valkyrie starts doing the Angel every end step. You start making 9, 9, 10, 10 Angels really quickly when you have Giada in play doing this.
I imagine.
It gets quite ridiculous quite fast, and the opposing deck does not interact with it very well at all. He does have Pelucranos, and he could have the other Hydra that's green X and comes with X with counters and fights something or doubles its counters to deal with some of the threats. But it's a little early for that card to be effective. This is a 3 devotion.
I mean, Caleb does still have the biggest board on the board in that 4 mana 5/5 Pelucranos. So
yeah, he's also getting close to just monstrosing it and starting to deal with some of these creatures.
They are both 4, but they are both 2/4s. So he does have to, and it is a double X. He does have to get pretty high up on X to be able to kill even one of them right now.
Old Ghost Troll's really good to get close to that. He's got the Nykthos in play. If we have 2 more mana, that card is actually free under Nykthos.
Opting to not attack with the 5/5 into a 2/4.
I think it was because he had 1 tap. He could have not even blocked it.
I mean, that's a free 5 damage on your opponent whose life total, who like specifically cares about hitting a threshold for your life total. Is there any reason to not attack with the Pelucranos there?
I think the only reason you can consider just like it's not worth to attack. Oh, that's the worst card you want to see here. It's going to gain 3 life here. Fortunately, again, a lot of the cards, 1 card healing types of cards, do not trigger those Splendid Angel. You need 2 effects to start making the Angels dance step or a Giada in play. So essentially 2 things to make it work.
Yeah.
So fortunately, he's not going to start making the 4/4s, but that is very scary. You have to be very scared of Coco here hitting like a second Righteous Valkyrie, finding a Bishop of Wings, or even Nico getting the 6 mana and attacking with it because it does pump it to 5 exactly.
Issues over here with my phone. I have to reset it.
Looks like we're going to activate the Nykthos, make 6 mana. Might see a Storm of the Festival here, or he does have a Karn. Oh, looks like he's thumbing the Karn or the Cavaliers in his hand.
Oh, there's that one of Overgrown Tomb we were talking about previously.
7, 8, 7, 8 mana.
Yeah, that looks like that's 8 mana to me. Wonder what we're doing here with our 8 mana.
I could see a. Well, it looks like he's monstrosing. I could see a monster string here and starting to deal with some of these creatures on the Pelucrinus. Yeah, it looks like he put 4 1/1 counters on it.
That's 9 mana, and he's only got 8. Because activate
Makes 6,
6.
and then 7, 8.
Yeah.
Missing 1 mana.
Yeah, that's only I think they might be catching that right now.
Yeah, let's go double check with
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna set somebody up to the table. It looks like there may have been a slight miscalculation on the mana. Okay, looks like we got that rectified. He realized he only had he 8 mana, not 9, so it's only 3.
Yeah, I thought he had 10. he somehow counted. I think he counted his land and I think he might have counted his land and Manadork twice there on accident or something like that.
Yeah, he might have counted when he saw the tap land from Nykthos as part of his mana. So he's like 6 from Nykthos, 2 from these lands I've tapped for, and then 2 for the other one. Probably what happened.
Math is hard. It's
XX spells can be very funky.
9:30. I don't know if for whatever reason the thing's on Mountain Time. For whatever reason, our computer's on Mountain Time. You just click on it. You should be able to edit it from my computer. Set time automatically. I don't know if set time automatically. I'm putting it back on. No, the other one. Weird. Apologies for the small distraction there, folks. We both got a bit waylaid by noticing that our computer we're viewing on was for some reason set to Mountain Time instead of Central Time.
Really make me think the turn will have much more time to it, but it really doesn't.
Yeah, it didn't start 30 minutes ago.
It's like a Kiora here. Kiora is pretty potent into this Nykthos. Makes 7 mana now off the Nykthos.
Yep. And over there we got while we were futzing around at the time, we got a Book of Exalted Deeds into play for Nico. So I think now Caleb is constantly Caleb has Beseju, although I think he might have played it out, but he has at least one Beseju in his deck.
So he's got 7 mana open right now?
He has 7 mana right now, yes.
Because he tapped it for 6, on cast Kiora to 3.
Yep.
And then he down tick, and then 2, 7.
I'm confused. Maybe he used Kiora to untap it because Kiora comes in on 7.
And then paid 2 to make another.
Yeah, so that's 5, so it only puts you up 2 mana off the 6.
Okay.
Right?
Well, it's 7 on the second activate because he's cool and playing.
Right. So he should have been at, but he goes down to 2. Or no. Wait, so he makes 6 and then he makes 7, but he
Spends
5.
Yeah, spends 5.
So he goes down to 1 and ends up at 8.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, we're correct. This time he counted correctly on mana.
He's got the double digits mana, so he's on the D20 right now. It's a little hard for us to read on the stream.
Yeah, we might need to look into getting some larger D20s. I know there's those the gift bundle D20s. We might put one of those over at the table for use whenever somebody wants to use a couple D20s.
He is very close to the combo. He does have Karn in graveyard and now Karn in play.
So we're just that one. Now we're down ticking it, and let's see what he's going for here. So we're just that one
Looks like a
Fiora
grab
away.
Shadow Spear.
Okay.
Might start booting up this big boy Pelucranos.
I mean, it's a 9/9 if he does that. One thing to bear in mind is, like I was saying before, Nico did get that Book of Exalted Deeds, and it looks like he does have a Mutavault chilling over there under his hand.
He does definitely mutable. It takes 6, 7 mana in play to be able to book and put it on the mutable in the same turn, because you need the mutable to tap for itself, 6 for the book, 6 for the activating of the book.
So like he cashed the book last turn.
Oh, he's already got it in play.
Yeah, he's already got the book in play.
Oh.
So we might be looking at the game ending like.
This deck does play Boseiju.
Yeah, that is something else. We did see. Oh, there it is. Oh no, that's the shop.
He played one already.
Yeah,
Which is actually kind of
Okay, there it is.
for that. I don't know how many he runs, but it could be a blowout here if we do see the book on the mutable.
I mean, you have to imagine that it's
At the minimum, we'll buy Nico time to just take hits until he finds the Boseiju.
Yeah.
And try to gain his life back to get to the point when he finds the Boseiju, he's not just dead.
Yeah, but Caleb's swinging in for a real big number here.
Should be 9-13.
Yeah, Nico's gonna be going to 2 since he has no blockers because I can't imagine he wants to. Oh, he has 2 Mutavaults.
Yeah, so he does get to chump the 4/4 and he'll take 9. Because the 4/4 doesn't have trample. So
It looks like he was, based on where he was indicating there, I think he was blocking 2 off the Pelucranos, so he's going to go to 4 here.
interesting choice, but I think the play for Nico is still the same.
Like, it might be just
I think
mutable. Caleb's confirming. I think Caleb might be confirming where the block is going here. It looks like the players are discussing what's gonna block where. Hopefully we'll be able to see from where life totals end up. Yeah, Nico threw that in front of the Polokranos. Because I guess he thought he could
Absorb more damage.
Yeah, I guess he forgot about trample on Shadow Spear.
Alright, it looks like he's just gonna need to book mutable here.
I mean, assuming you just go for it, right? Like your opponent's tapped out.
Yeah. Ooh, he forgot that card had reach, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that surprise reach factor.
He could. There is a scenario where he has Coco there, and he goes Coco in response and tries to hit 2 angels to make him bigger as well. Something, but I don't think he can get big enough. I think he only had 2 counters, so he was it's a 2/3 base. I want to say
It's a 1/3 base, so it'll only
2 counters been a 3/5. So yeah,
it's a 5/6.
yeah. It doesn't book mutable. Books up activated abilities only at sorcery speed.
So if he doesn't do it before passing the turn, he just gives up his opportunity and he dies, right? And we're gonna see a game 3 here, unless
Yeah, it does look like he picks it up. I think, for the sake of time, it's probably not worth because he does have Boseiju, and he's just going to put him really far in the negative. So it's literally just says Boseiju. Once he finds Boseiju, the game's over.
yeah, it is an inevitability. Maybe that was the conversation that was going on there at the end. We keep doing these. I'm really liking these
post-game interviews.
These post-match interviews. It's not a thing that we do on Mondays usually, because not infrequently we end up going to time, even on these meetings.
Yeah.
But I think getting these post-game interviews to find out exactly what was going on. Also, I meant to be taking notes so I could write down questions I meant to be asking, and I forgot to do that. Next week. We'll definitely have to get both of them. I want to hear from both of them on this. What was, I guess one of them can probably just tell us what was going on there. But I suspect you're probably right that it was Caleb was pointing out that, hey, I have big creatures. I'm gonna put you really far down. I'll find Boseiju essentially likely before you're able to dig out of it.
As well as he's gaining in life a turn while this is happening.
Yes, so he's also
Very far out of the red zone.
We're pulling these life totals real far apart real fast.
Yeah, I would say if I was Nico, I would do it. I'd ask if he still had a Boseiju in his deck. If he said yes, I'd pick up my cards. I'd say, at a local level.
Sure. All right, so we're at a local. Would it be unreasonable to ask your opponent to go through their deck and show it to you?
I think if it's for game 3.
Like, you don't have to show you their whole deck. I'm just saying they pick it, they find it, and they show you there's still one in their deck.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Because like game 3, you play it out.
Yeah, you just play it out.
You make them find it because you might go to time.
Yeah.
But for I think like just to verify my opponent does have this inevitability thing. Just make them show it.
Yeah.
So.
I think, especially, I think it's only to the benefit of the mono green player to show it in the event that they lost game 1,
Which is what we had happen here.
Yeah, so they wouldn't go to time in game 2 because if it coincidentally happens to be the bottom card of your deck, you're wasting your time on a game that you won. So you want to get that game over as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So I think in that scenario, I would just offer that. I would say I run another one. I can go in my deck and show you if you want to pick up. And if they like let me go grab it, show you, and we pick up, that's fine.
Yeah, I think it locals. That's a fine solution.
Yeah, just for the sake of time and for the sake of it's not even a real waste at that point. Because when you're swinging for 9 and turn gaining 9, the guy's going to be negative. Nico would be negative like 50, 60, 70, 100, while Caleb's like 100 something in the green.
And you're also getting bigger. Like, your numbers are getting like the power you're putting in place is increasing every turn too, presumably. So it's like you're just going to be pushing him further down.
Yeah. I think we're getting close to just doing the combo and rolling it out, and then going. No cards in deck. I literally just have to draw. You can't do anything until I find a straight game.
Yeah.
He was, I think, 1 QR off of being able to do the combo.
It did look like that. The other thing is you can
That's the Hydra I've been alluding to that I keep forgetting the name.
Grenade Sniper? Gotcha.
That is the other one that they board into for fight spells.
Gotcha. So say the other thing is, I mean, I have seen Caleb play pretty quick. It is possible he would just, instead of adding any power to the board, like unless he was playing some real big thing, like just like make a land drop go, like maybe
Like not untap your creatures, just say attack.
yeah, just be like all the things, until your opponent puts something in front of you that you can't like start swinging with everything. Yeah. But just like alpha strike him until he's. That was really loud. Just alpha.
Sorry for the guys at home if that was too loud for you guys.
Apologies to any headphone listeners in the audience.
Yada's a good start for Nico to come out of the gates really fast. He doesn't stop the.
We still have the possibility for stopping the potential turn 3 Cavalier, right? Because we can stop one of these guys here and now.
Not if he has triple ramp.
Yep. Well, if we have double.
I don't think that's where we want to be. I think he's just going to try to like. He wants to just go over the top of this Cavalier with a big Gyata creature because he opened Gyata. I think you just hit him for 1 here or 2, and then you want to play like Righteous Valkyrie. Resplendent is the first one's kind of sad. You'd rather see a Righteous Valkyrie there as Nico. That's how you start killing them.
Yeah, because then it curves into Resplendent better.
And then it puts Resplendent exactly at 5 toughness because you have 2 angles.
To trigger itself, and then that'll make a 6/6, and then the ball gets rolled.
It'll make a 7/7.
Oh, it'll make a 7/7, even better.
And you gain 7. And then everything gets 2/2.
No, it's a 6/6. You have 2 other angels. It's a 6.
Wait, if you
it's a 3. Gyara's an angel. So yeah, it is a 7/7. You're right. Yeah.
And you'd have Resplendent Righteous Valkyrie then active 2/2 on the board.
Yeah.
It gets nuts really quick.
Yes, that's a 9/9. That would have been That's a little unfortunate
That curve out didn't come to fruition, but he's still in a good spot though. If I don't see the context of his hand, I saw an old growth troll. If he doesn't have a good threat here, he has a lot of ramp and is waiting for payoff. Because I saw old growth troll, which is fine here. It's a 4/4. It can put some screws in. Oh, looks like you had to storm the festival. You're really hoping for like a not Cavalier here.
Well, I think I see another Storm the Festival in there.
Fortunately, that just goes to the bottom library. That's what you want them to see. Karn is beatable. Kior is beatable. I think Cavalier is pretty bad for him right here. He's gonna it'll pretty much stonewall his aggression right now.
So we're halfway to the combo right now. If he's like holding another Karn and another Kiora, he's just practically won the game next turn.
I don't know if he has the devotion for it because he doesn't have the Cavalier or the old growth troll in play yet. Because you need a good amount of devotion to do this.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, because you have to be able to start with a really high amount of mana.
Because you're on the iteration, you need 7 mana just to play the card that picks up 2, 3 to play the QR back down, and then 2 more to activate the Nykthos again.
Okay,
so you need a good amount of
devotion.
12,
so you need like 12 to get started.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
Okay.
It's achievable for sure for the deck, especially when you start storming into more things.
5. So he's at 5 right now.
He can get to 8 with the Old Growth Troll in his hand, and the Old Growth Troll is essentially free under this Nykthos.
Yeah, he actually does have enough mana. Just starting off with if he goes with the Kiora, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Yeah, so it's 8 with the Kiora activation, and then oh no, he's actually exactly 1 short.
If he has the other two.
If he has the other 2 cards in his hand.
Alright, so you're really hoping for like
I guess you could ritual with the other Kiora.
you're really hoping here to hit Righteous Valkyrie plus Other Angel, like Second Splendid is like your best draw. Skyclave would be decent, just to clear out some of this stuff. Brukathar is reasonable. Skyclave hits the Karn. Okay, that's not terrible, and it puts the Karn in exile, which is huge because now he has to find another copy of Karn for the combo to be alive.
Yeah,
He does have a Meteor Golem in his hand, which is sad and slightly sad.
blows up any non-land permanent.
Yeah, so he might just deal with this Skyclave. And he probably deals with the Splendid out of anything, but
Yeah, I think Resplendent's the scariest card.
he can put this Kiora at 1 so that he only ever gets 1 activate on it too, which is actually reasonable here. Just because it stops him from having a huge mana advantage off this Karn Nykthos next turn.
Yeah, normally it means he really won't be able to do a whole. I mean, we know of the existence of the old troll, so if he hits a land,
Yeah.
wow, went for the face, not the Kiora there.
I will say I'm not opposed to just ignoring Kioras 90% of the time because you lose so much damage to the Kiora.
Yeah,
7 loyalty is a large amount.
it is also giving your opponent the ability to draw a card when you play their old growth trolls, though. So like,
Yeah,
there may be some consideration to it. I think.
yeah. I think I don't think it's ever strictly wrong. I just think there's a lot of times where if you just pushed like the 7 damage you needed to kill a Kiora at their face, they probably just died. Because a lot of times you hit it a couple of times and it doesn't die, and they get a couple activates out of it, and they still get advantage out of the card.
We were seeing a count. Looked like we were seeing a count there on the Nykthos devotion, which by my count looks like it's exactly 7.
Yes.
Does that look right to you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So he gets a Meteor Golem here.
Is exactly enough for a Meteor Golem.
I think you probably top the Resplendent. You're just too scared of them getting a big life gain card with Giada in play. Like if they get a life payoff card, Resplendent gets really bad for you. He's at 4 mana, not 5. 5 makes Resplendent even scarier because that means if land drop activates and hits you for 7, and then you get a 6, and then he gets the Angels, and he starts that chain up. Okay. See what comes out of Nico's hands. That Coco was fairly weak though. Like we said that the Skyclave apparition could have been good, but the fact that he hit double O-ring type effect there is
One of them removed the creature, which isn't bad. And the other one did take out a
yeah.
planeswalker.
The Skyclave was good, but I think the Brukathar, you really want that to be like your Righteous Valkyries, your other cards to gain life.
I mean, I will say that the body on the Brutal Cathar is not terrible.
It's a 3/2.
Yeah. 3/2, I thought it was a 3/3.
It becomes a 3/3 when you flip it.
3/3 first strike, ward 3. Or pay 3 life.
Correct.
And red,
He becomes right.
in case that matters. No blocking it when I have my Sword of Fire and Ice.
Book of Exalted Deeds here is the play. Not really where you want to be. Probably indicates that his hand's not ideal. I see at least 1 land, maybe.
So hear me out. With the Brutal Cathar everywhere,
Yes.
would you rather, I think, wouldn't you rather just not do anything to flip it and then assume your opponent's going to cast 2 spells and flip it back for you? Because that's an ETB and transform trick.
Oh, looks like he has a Righteous Valkyrie as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Played it off the Giada.
All right. Sure. I mean, that gets him, it doesn't gain any life, though.
No. The next angel will gain life, and a 3 hits the minimum to put the Book of Exalted Deeds angel into play. So that'll gain you some life. And if he hits something that is an angel, since he's got 2 angels, all the other angels in the deck will become 4/4s off of 1 Giada and 2 angels.
There you go.
So he then gains 4 there.
We have on that. It doesn't look like we have a die on that Righteous Valkyrie. I'll be right back. I'm gonna run out there.
It doesn't have a counter yet.
Yeah, it should from the Gouda, right?
Oh yeah, I should get one from the data because it counts itself.
Yep.
He's got another old growth troll. And card is very good right now because under the Nykthos, the activate is actually paid for entirely after he activates it because it puts 3 more green devotion in play, as well as it draws from a card. So it's essentially a free draw card here when you're planning on activating an Nykthos.
So while I was out there, I wandered by our other presently undefeated player to see what he was on in the event we get to see him next round. If we have a next round, because if he wins out his match against James, we'll end up with
2 undefeated.
We'll have 2 undefeated, so that'll be around 4, and we'll get to see him. It'll be another Lotus Field if we do get to see it. Ethan is on Lotus Field. I don't know the level to which he is upgraded. I know I talked to him previously, and he said he's starting with one of the challenger decks. So he also may not have upgraded the deck. I don't know what he's got as far as Besejus and stuff for upgrades to the deck. So he just might not have any like guys. But who can say he's right now playing James from on his black red mid range deck from last round. So, oh yeah, let's do that. Jesus. A little bit loud.
So it looks like we're gonna party amount of card advantage here out of the looks like he upticked on the book. Oh, he's gonna fight the book. He turned the legendary artifact into a creature. He fought it with a voracious hydra to take book mutable off the table.
Fighting the book. I am amused.
Mono green deck really showing the true barbarian tendencies.
Hates books so much he'll even fight them. Hey man, that Hydra is just real hungry. It is voracious.
That's actually really a funny interaction that we just witnessed.
Yeah, I mean that's real heads up on Caleb's part, like to know, oh hey, I can do this and kill his thing. That's
Yeah, it looks like Nico's just flooding out pretty hard here.
yeah.
That is a problem with the deck. The deck is a good mid-range deck with an aggressive curve. The main problem is when you get dealt with for the first couple things, the first couple like threats you deploy, if you have like a reasonable open, the deck runs a good amount of lands because you need to hit 4th land for Coco on 4 for it to be like as oppressive as it can be. So sometimes you'll see games like this where you're just flooding.
Oh, looks like we did get a flip. Someone refused to cast spell. Yeah, so we got
Like,
the
you don't play spells, so we could potentially ORE another creature.
Yep, there we go. That 3/3 first strike ward, pay 3 life. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's, like I said, it is a both a transform and an ETB trigger. So if the mono green, sometimes called Storm deck, casts 2 spells in a turn, assuming he doesn't immediately kill his opponent,
Yeah, he does get to steal one of his elves. Or the old growth, I guess.
you can also eat the Voracious Hydra.
Yeah, then it would come back with no counters too. Be an all one play.
Make the Voracious Hydra go away, make a Troll go away. I definitely don't want to eat the Meteor Golem, because when this thing leaves play,
Yeah, you don't want to just give him another card to take.
no.
Yeah, I will say that Coco is pretty sad for Nico. You start to see the downsides of how like hitting double removals out there for Nico and not just things that increase his clock. Really just coming down on him because he has his opponent to 7 life and he just is struggling to get these last points across.
Are we maybe going to see the combo here? I couldn't see from his hand, but it doesn't look like Caleb has. No, he's just animated. What did he target there? Did he indicate he was targeting Meteor Golem? I think he did.
You can't target.
All right, I got to the thing. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you can't target Meteor Golem with it because it's a non-artifact creature. He can choose to target nothing if he wants more loyalty. Nope, looks like they realize what's going on when Brickfield's mid going over there. You're walking up.
Yeah, we read that just now, and I was like, all right, cool. Just making sure.
Well, thank you, Tiggy227 with that rate of 4. Welcome to our Pioneer local right now at Chupacabra Games.
As you can see, we've got, to update all of our rating friends, we've got Nico over here on Green White Angels, and Caleb on Mono Green Devotion. Right now, Caleb's in what I think is a pretty commanding position.
I will say he is only at 7 life. A very well drawn Coco here could gain him the wife to get the Righteous Valkyrie active and swing through in the air.
Yeah.
Also, he hasn't seen a Cavalier yet, which is like the main way to stop this.
Yeah, and it looks like Nico's starting to do the loop here because Caleb's starting to do the loop here because our table manager is realizing that he had attempted to take an illegal game action. He reverted to down ticking the Karn to, I assume, tutor up this Pestilent Cauldron, and might be looping the Kioras here.
I would say we did see one Karn get exiled. I don't think we have a second one in the grave right now. So I don't know if he's got one in hand or if he's got the first Karn got.
Okay, he did have
the actual second.
He actually, this is the second time he's cast a Karn.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, we already knew about the existence of that Karn.
Let's see if Nico makes him play out the whole combo. I do believe he has the.
That was the second Kiora, so
it looks like he's already got the Overgrown Tomb in play tapped.
You think Kiora can just untap that at the end of the combo, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah, so I do believe he's just got it. I think he's just got to show him the loop, and
I believe that's what we're sitting through here right now is. Yeah. So it looks like they're just our players are Caleb's explaining to Nico what's going to go on here, and I did just get confirmation that our other undefeated did fall to James in this round. So we will. It is unlikely that we will see that we will be here for a 4th round, but we'll see what our players are saying. What our players are feeling. I know that Event Link is quite fond of having a 4th round regardless, as long as you are above 8 players. So, I think Event Link might want it, but we might we may just be ending after this.
This is your fault. I'm not yielding. You're not winning. Too. It's like, I'm thinking the same right there. Because I had the same moves. We need like a fucking curtain to like dampen the sound. Oh, cool.
Whatever.
No, I don't know how long we're going to reiterate this loop for.
So
It looks like he might not have this. Yeah, it looks like he's just gonna get some cards out of Kiora, get another Cavalier trigger. Decided
He
it is.
doesn't have the combo. I thought he did have the combo.
I believe he does. I think he's just trying to find his O-tune. I think he's just not doing the Golos plan right now, which is strange to me.
Did he maybe board the Galos into the deck?
I find that very peculiar if he decided to do that. This deck,
Yeah, I agree, but like he's just going down. All right, so now we're starting with another Kiora again. So he's going through it slowly to play it out. I'm confused why we
Did
haven't
he
gone to
not
the infinite mana loop.
I wonder if he didn't have enough devotion without the Cavalier, so we need to put 3 more devotion in play.
Oh, in order to actually go off.
Yeah, to be able to play the Golos, play the Pestilent Cauldron, and activate the Pestilent Cauldron.
Well, once you've got the loop, you only need to have the 1 mana hanging. But it is kind of a lot of mana because it's 2 to activate. So it's 5 for this spell, 4 for Karn, so that's 9. 3 for Kiora is 12. 2 to activate. 2 to activate Lockthwain, so 14. So you have to be making 15 mana with each with each each Nykthos activation in order for it to go infinite.
Yeah, looks like Nico sees what's happening.
I think Caleb is now explaining how the combo works, and it looks like based on what we're seeing here that our it looks like it was probably just a lack of enough mana on Caleb's part to be able to quite finish out the combo here. And now that he's explained what's going on to Nico, it looks like we're getting the scoop there. Yeah, there we go.
The green card scoop in of cards just on the mono green players field.
Yeah.
So I'm just like laying out a deck right there.
Yeah, and we our table manager has put up Infinity Elemental to indicate that Caleb went infinite. So I'll go back out there and see if he has any thoughts for us. I like I said, I'm not expecting there to be another round after this, but we may well see one. We'll have to see. Give us be back in just a minute. Alrighty, so we're back here from our little ad break that my co-commentator Nick Peterson just sent you all to. Apologies for that. Apologies for that for all of you that aren't subscribers for James. Get that Twitch Prime sub in for my boy here. We got Caleb back here.
Hello again. You have to watch my game.
He was just telling me how he was confirming for us that he did in fact miscount initially when he was explaining what was on Nico.
3 mana short, so I had to. Luckily, I had another cure in hand, so I could not get it back with my Restorative Birth and get back Oath of Nissa instead. And dig for a card that could get me 3 extra mana.
Okay.
And luckily, I managed to hit Archon of Cavalier of Thorns, and then that got me another forest, which drew me an Old Growth Troll, which then I could then play and then go mana positive and kill Nico. But it was a little mind-bending for a minute.
How do you feel about making the truly barbaric play of animating their book and then fighting their book? It's not about the books over there, I see.
No. We're green. We don't read. Books die. That book definitely needed to die.
How many Boseijus do you run in your deck?
One.
So that one game, he actually had the opportunity to book Boseiju and then pass to you. I mean, book Beautiful, and you had one Boseiju and play a game. One of the games that you won that he didn't. He had the option of book Mutavaulting when you had one Boseiju in play.
Yes.
And he opted to not and then conceded the game deal. Would that have been the game if you didn't have
No. You didn't have 3 mana up to activate book.
He had a book and play with Mutable.
Yes, but it costs 3 mana to activate this ability.
Not this last game that you just played.
Yeah.
The game prior to that.
Use the thing real quick.
So back in 1 second, there would be a loud announcement.
I'd say we might be.
Okay, so it looks like we are calling the standings for the event. It looks like we're calling it at 3 rounds as we only have one undefeated player. So that would be it for the tournament.
We have our Caleb, our victor from last match was our one undefeated. So he'll takes down first place for our Pioneer event for tonight. Caleb was just explaining something we had completely missed in game 2 of our last round. How Nico couldn't activate the book. And I think we're probably gonna end up with the stream ending here really quick. So we'll just say goodbye to everybody. And see y'all. I guess James will be streaming Thursday. James will be streaming some Pioneer or Modern on Moto on Thursday. So bye everybody.